whenever there's an episodic series, you can bet two men will talk to you. AJ Talon and Owen Finch give their thoughts on Owen and AJ Talks.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Owen and AJ Talk for the first time in 2 weeks. I'm Owen Finch, and I'm here with
AJ Talon, and today it's another episode of YellowJackets, Season 2, Episode 5. Yep, so last episode was pretty bad, but we're back for another one. We're halfway through the season, and I'm looking forward to getting back into it.
Yeah, this is interesting because the last time we did YellowJackets, Season 3 hadn't come out yet. Everyone's probably wondering, we were doing so well. We did everything when we said we were going to do them. Why all of a sudden now did we just vanish? It actually had nothing to do with how bad last episode was. It just kind of happened that way. We were originally going to start OVB earlier than we wanted. But then, AJ and I's schedules never meshed up, and then it got to the point where, we were going to do YellowJackets again, and again, our schedules just couldn't mesh up to literally sit down and record any video, not even just these videos.
Yeah.
So
in the span of a week, I got a job, lost a job. The day, we were going to record a video on Friday, and, that day, my brother was like, hey, can you take me to a movie that came out? And I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, that was literally last second. So just shit like that. Obviously, you worked and you had stuff to do. But yeah, we finally got together for this one, and hopefully the rest of the week we'll be able to finish up on the YellowJackets Season 2 to get it caught up. Because Season 3, only one episode's out right now.
Yeah. Well, and, 2, actually, because they did...
Yeah, freelancer stuff for Red vs. Blue.
Yeah. So I guess we could say this. If you're going to comment down on the video... Just keep in mind that AJ and I have both not even seen... AJ hasn't even finished Season 2, but I haven't seen Season 3 yet, so we don't know how that exactly goes. I'm going to have to make sure I say that every video. But, yeah, so this is Season 2, Episode 5. This episode is called Two Truths and a Lie. I actually think a very fitting episode title, because, well, one, it gets name dropped in the episode. I always am a sucker for that. But also, too, everyone in this show at this point is kind of telling some things that are lies, but also some things that are truth, but also, we're left guessing. What is a truth? What is a lie? So I kind of like the actual, theme and the title of this episode. That might actually... Hey, that could end up deciding the letter grade, because we don't know what to give this as a letter grade yet, so that could be the factor right there, the kind of... the deciding factor. You always got to think of that. This episode was... it was directed by Leonard Church. No, it wasn't directed by Leonard Church. I had to do that joke at least once. But it was directed by Ben Seminoff.
Oh, Ben? With crutches? Oh, man, great. Or Ben 10 specifically.
Well, that would make sense. He's not in this episode a whole lot, so that wouldn't make sense if he did it. But no, unfortunately, it's not the case. It's some random dude.
He's one of the only people who has an excuse for being in the Capitol all day. Which, it's funny. We'll get to that in a couple minutes. But Owen, after last episode, I think I told you about it. I had a dream about YellowJackets from last episode.
Oh yeah, because you haven't done a video since you had this dream.
Yeah. But once we start talking about Joel Maury, I'll bring it up.
Which kind of sucks. She's not in this episode a lot, so
yeah, but she's in it for a minute, so I'll bring it up then.
Do you think they went back to the? Do you think they went back to the old tropes? Remember, in Season 1, a big thing is someone fucked up real bad in Season 1. They won in the episode. They won in the season for a while type of thing. I think that happened. I think that
the last episode, they're like, "All right, Maury, you're too much of a bitch. Get out for this episode."
But anyhow, the people who wrote this episode though were Catherine Kearns and Sarah L. Thompson. I'm pretty sure we've talked about them before. So the good writer. Well, I was gonna say the good writers, but this episode, I mean, it's good, but I don't want to say good. I mean, they probably had a sick day this day. They were probably sick, Plus, it's probably not. We can't blame them. They're not the showrunner either. It could have been the showrunner's fault, type of thing.
Yeah.
But AJ, unfortunately for you, you were doing real well getting the dates of YellowJackets.
Yeah. Now it's been a while, so I'm like, fuck.
And remember, it's not. I will tell you that it's not 2021. Yeah, because you keep doing that.
Right. 2023. I want to say January 21st, 2023. I'm pretty sure it was in winter.
Ooh. Ooh. It's April 23rd, 2023.
April?
Yeah, the last one was April, don't forget, because I know you're probably all messed up because, it just came out now in February type of thing. But again, this is what happened.
You know what? It's because I keep thinking because it's like all snowy and wintry.
Yeah.
And we had this conversation before where I'm like, oh, it's really weird they didn't release this like in the winter months.
Yeah. But don't forget, a lot of this is on a soundstage, so it doesn't that won't matter.
Right,
So
it doesn't actually snow.
yeah. But yeah, let's just start talking about this episode. Again, if you've never watched a YellowJackets video from us before, typically how we do this is we talk about everything in the past first, and then we talk about everything in the present. Because the past is so connected, only one person mainly talks during that time, and the other person just kind of sits there and chimes in every so often if they're allowed to. That wasn't even a shot at anyone. I was just going off the graces there. So, but anyhow, let's talk about good old 1996, where AJ wasn't even.
You revealed that off camera. I like smack you and I beat you if you interrupt me. Like, no, hear you interrupt me.
But yeah, let's talk about good old 1996, where AJ wasn't even there, and
God. He's like, oh no. It's like, Dingo, I don't beat you. Honest.
But yeah, let's talk about good old 1996, where AJ wasn't even there, and I was like not even a year old yet. I was just probably born at this time. So
Dingo was super not born yet.
Are you kind of super though? Because this was 2 years. What do you consider super? So
well, Dingo's a year old. So she was born in 2023.
Yeah.
So yeah, she is super not born yet. Her like great grandmother was alive then, probably.
But yeah, we cut to the present. Not the present, but the past. I think I said present because I think I've been talking about the present the past few episodes, so that's why I said present. But we see it's just the next day. Everyone's kind of just doing their thing, having a nice time. As much as they can because it's a plane crash, Yeah,
and they're like starving and they're freezing, and besides that, a good old time.
I feel like I just went into that guy from Family Guy who like they crashed in Canada and they were like out there for like a while and the guy just walked by. He's like, I didn't want to interrupt your plane crash. I feel like I'd be that guy if I saw them out there. Like I didn't want to interrupt it type of thing. There's another time jump because YellowJackets loves time jumps. Every episode it seems like there is a time jump because it seems like 2 months have gone by. And the reason we know that is because Shauna is showing even more pregnancy-wise than she was the previous episode. Like, it looks like at any moment she could give birth.
It couldn't have been that much because she was, 7 months? Well, yeah, I guess, actually, yeah. She was, 7 months along at the beginning of the season.
Also, too, because
she's probably been like a month. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, too, because this. We'll get to it, but there's some stuff that mentioned that it seems like it's definitely been a couple months. I was just mentioning because the first scene's pretty noticeable that Shauna has definitely showing now type and all that type of stuff. It seems like Thais is in a decent mood. She comes up and says good morning to Shauna, and Shauna's in that stage of the pregnancy where she doesn't want to talk to anyone, or is antisocial, or both. Could be both. We find out also too that Thais, I don't think we've known this yet, but they kind of gave us a little sign that she wasn't sleepwalking because obviously she woke up fine. I think she was the last one to get up. She kind of overslept and she wasn't she hasn't been tied because obviously Van before had to sometimes tie up Thais, and that wasn't the case this time type of thing. So, she went downstairs and Van comes in and tells Thais that it's morning meeting type of thing, which is kind of funny because that's what I work at Lowe's and they say that when there's a morning meeting, so I like that
Yeah, it's like a job. All right, everybody, let's do our 9-to-5 job of sitting around and letting Natalie and Travis do all the work. Which, listen, Mari, I'm gonna fucking get to it.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's true. Because I guess that was kind of annoying in this episode. I was trying to think like that was more of a lot. Like, but I guess there was some stuff. But we'll get there.
Well, that's something I've been kind of saying for this whole season is that like nobody's really doing anything aside from Natalie and Travis. Like nobody else is out like helping Hunt.
Right, but Sean is kind of a little bit upset that Thais is starting to go to this stuff because obviously a big thing for Thaisa, like, throughout this show in general has been that she doesn't believe in any of this stuff. But we find out more about this later, but it's like, well, it's helping me with my stuff, but she also kind of does the, Vance convinced me to go, and you know what they say, happy wife, happy life. And then
I was gonna say I like that. Or I think that's a good progression because that was a big thing the last like 2 episodes. Was Van was trying to get Thaisa to buy into Lottie's stuff, and they kind of made that bet where if they they end up finding the mark on the tree, Thaisa will take it more seriously.
Right.
So I like this where Thaisa is kind of trying to make Van happy and contribute, but again she's not really buying into it. She's just listen, it makes Van happy. And even though I don't believe it's all magic bullshit, it is helping me with sleepwalking. Right. So I'm gonna take it at that. So I think this is a good progression of that.
I will say this. This is I did write this in the notes about time jump annoyance. I think I make it sound like I hate time jump stuff, but I feel like YellowJackets just does this so often. This was a big thing of the whole show, and I feel like we should have seen Thaisa actually make this decision on screen of her going to this club, because obviously a big thing this whole season has been Thaisa not believing in any of this stuff, and then we'll come in here and all of a sudden she's just going to meetings now and stuff. It was just kind of weird, type of thing. But yeah, we end up having the morning.
Again, I feel like that's fine because that's why I was saying with the time jump, I think this is it for Thaisa. It's a pretty natural progression of where she was last episode.
Yeah.
So, trust me, there's a lot to complain about the time jumps, but I think the Thaisa one is one where I'm like, okay, that's fine. I buy it. She's where she's at.
Maybe I wouldn't complain about it, too, if they didn't do them so often, too. That's the thing, too.
That's the point I was making is, the time jumps, you're right, are really annoying, and a lot of times it's, at really bad times. But for this one with Thaisa, I think it's fine. I think it works out good.
But then, yeah, so then they have the morning meeting, and everyone was actually paying attention to this morning meeting. No one was on their phones or anything like that, so that's good. And they all participate.
Imagine that when they're pulling up their phones, texting their mom. It's like, wait a minute, you have a fucking signal?
This is why. There's one thing that the comedy bit, because I remember that's a big comedy thing when someone would get into a real bad situation, is they'll actually have a phone.
Yeah, battery for one phone call and they waste it on something stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're all sitting around in a circle, and Casco hasn't also been going to these meetings, but sees that Thaisa's going.
Which one of her has been going to the meetings, Owen?
Huh?
I say you say she hasn't been going to the meetings, but which one? The fucking previous one might be going to the meetings.
That's actually a good joke there.
Yeah, thank you.
But Casco seeing that Thaisa is starting to go to these meetings. Just make sure to go to the first one. I'll just talk about this now because this scene means nothing. Her and Thaisa talk about this later, and Casco said she's doing this because she does a lot of rituals that probably all bullshit, but they help them win, so this is helping her get through. Again, I talk about this because they've recast this girl already, and she definitely talks, so we can just talk about it now and all that type of stuff. So
yeah, I like this. Kind of again, it's because it's still pretty early on to all the cult shit. So I think this is a good progression of that where I'm yeah, sure. They're kind of again they're all just sitting there bored out of their minds every single day. They got nothing to do aside from starve and freeze.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just like she points out, it's all that stuff you do for good luck. You don't believe it'll actually help, but you kind of just do it. It's kind of that mentality thing.
Yeah, I like that.
It makes you feel better. Well, it's funny. Our grandmother, I think your dad's girlfriend brought it up. Where our grandmother goes to church, but she's not even religious.
Right.
She just kind of goes to church just to go to church.
Yeah. That is interesting. Yeah. So.
I will say, I might just be speaking out of my ass here. because just because the cast is mostly Caucasian, skin color. It feels a little weird that they're all the recap girl. Like she talks, the only people she fucking interacts with are Mari and the only other like black girl there.
Yep. Yeah.
Like I feel like it'd be less noticeable if they weren't the only like three. Well, I guess Ben and like Travis, but like they're like I'm like, come on.
I know. But during this meeting, Lottie's leading the meeting and everything like that, and Lottie's kind of having them like kind of getting into touch with nature. This is kind of like meditating in a way. Where they ask like what they hear and all that type of stuff, and they talk about how they hear the trees, how they hear the wind. The only thing that's kind of questionable, I guess, but hopefully this is the same reason that Thaisa gives, is it seems like Travis is buying into this, but I kind of hope it's a Thaisa situation and not like a continuity issue, because obviously we've seen now a few issues where it seems like Travis actually does believe in this stuff and Natalie has known about it, so let's try to hope this is just something for Travis to do and not like he's buying into it type of thing.
Yeah, I wish it was at least addressed. And it's funny, I think we brought this up like every episode, and I think it's just because it is like the only concrete thing we ever got. Like, they have been super vague whenever bringing up the past in the present.
Yeah.
But like one of the only concrete things we ever got was Natalie saying Travis never bought into all the spirit mumbo jumbo. And now they have been hammering in that Travis is buying into all the spirit mumbo jumbo.
Yeah.
So it's everything else you could argue, it's not a plot hole. They're just like vague on it or like whatever. But this is like the only like concrete example of like, nah, you just fucking said one thing and you're doing a completely different other thing.
Then doing all this, you see Shauna's kind of like watching this like off in the distance, and she obviously. We get more of her feelings on this later, but she doesn't seem like happy that this is like going on. And she also kind of seems like an outcast because it's like her and Natalie and obviously Ben are like the only ones that aren't really going to like these meetings. And obviously Harvey, I guess, hasn't been going type of thing. So like she kind of seems like an outcast type of thing because,
I do like how you said, Shauna's an outcast, except you have a bunch of other people who also aren't going.
Well, Shauna doesn't talk to any of these people, so...
Yeah. That's a good point. Shauna hasn't like interacted with like Ben or any. Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah.
Well, she just talked to Natalie for the first time in like episode 3?
Yeah, because that was the baby shower. So yeah. And then
I will say that was something I was actually going to complain about. Is like we've gotten a pretty good idea of how Natalie, Thaisa, and Misty feel about all this like religious stuff, past and present. Shauna's like the only one of the main four. But we really did not get any idea on like how she feels about all this stuff.
Right. I mean...
So it feels kind of weird we're just getting that now.
Yeah.
We're halfway through season 2. I feel like they could have done more with that earlier.
Yeah, definitely. So then they did their intro and they went back to their actual song, which is good because the other one I think I said like sucked. So like I'm glad they didn't keep that one. And then the next thing that happens... is so I kind of touched on the Thaisa thing already. I don't really think I need why she goes to meetings. We kind of talked about that already. And doing all this, we find out that during these last couple of months, Harvey hasn't been speaking. He's gone mute. And again, these background characters, we've talked about before how ruthless they are. They're over here talking about, like, dude, he hasn't, like, said anything. Like, they're gossiping about it, being like, maybe, like...
It's like what Mari was doing to Ben, where she was, like, whispering, like, fucking 2 feet away from him.
Yeah.
It's like they're doing the same thing, where they're just, like, shit-talking Harvey, like, right next to him.
But, yeah, they talk about, like... questioning like what he was doing out there. Has he been staying somewhere? Did he die and come back type of thing? Because obviously it doesn't make any sense that he did come back, which does actually that is good to bring up type of thing because how the hell did he survive out there type of thing this storm. So
well, I like how Mari brings up like she accuses him of like stealing the bear meat.
Yeah, I liked that. So,
which I wonder if that's true or not, because that was brought up before that somebody was like taking the bear meat and like no one owned up to it.
Yeah, so that'd be interesting if it's him. Yeah. So.
Well, like again, I don't know if this is confirmation that it was him or it's like they're just guessing, but like I don't know.
But Van and like Taiso and other people are, like trying to get him to speak, trying to like ask where he was, but he just is mute type of thing. And like Van even kind of says to like Travis, like, hey, why don't you come over here and like get your brother to like speak? And Travis, is kind of like, he'll talk when he's ready type of thing. Travis is being a little weird here. Like, I think we talked about this before. Like, he didn't really have much of a reaction when like Harvey was alive. I did go back and rewatch that scene. I think it's mainly because he was probably shocked himself, but he didn't really show much of a reaction. I guess maybe it's one of those things where, like, he wants to be his brother and be there for him, but, like, he doesn't want to just force him to talk, but I feel like he's making it worse by not having him talk type of thing, and, like, he should kind of be there for him.
I like and dislike how Travis is being with Javi.
Yeah.
So, I do like how he's, like, kind of being defensive of him, and he's like, hey, listen, he'll talk when he's ready. And later on in the episode, Travis goes up to Javi and is like, listen, you don't have to, like, everybody's asking you these questions. You don't have to tell us anything. Just, please answer this one question for me. Like, where have you been? Like, how did you survive? And then when he doesn't want to answer, he kind of just, like, pats him and walks off. Like, he's not, like, pressing him.
Right.
I do like, again, he's kind of treating Javi, like, delicately. Like, he's being like, hey, listen, like, I know everybody's interrogating you. Like, you don't have to, like, like, it's fine. But, just, like, you can talk to me. I'm your brother. So I do like he's being delicate. But, again, like you said, it's weird how he's being a little too distant.
Yeah.
Where I feel like it would be good if he was, like, overprotective of him. Like, if everybody was, like, interrogating Javi and Travis kind of just, like, rushed over and he was like, hey, everybody, like, fuck off.
Right.
Leave him alone. Give him space. Because he didn't really say anything until Mari's like, hey, can you, like, talk to him?
Right. I do like how Harvey's acting, though, because obviously the last time he was there was, like, when the shroom stuff was going on, so obviously he's like, what the hell is happening here? Like, because they didn't...
Oh, yeah. I forgot to bring that. I do like how Travis brings it up, where he's like, hey, listen, I don't blame you for running off, especially, that night where all the crazy shit was happening. Thank you for bringing that up. I forgot.
So, like, I actually like that, that he's, like, mute type of thing. It's weird that it took more of effect on Harvey than Travis, but whatever, we'll take it, But
well, again, Travis does not give a shit that everybody tried to fucking murder him. He got over that really quickly.
Yeah. I do like that they did something with Harvey like this, because obviously that's been a big thing, like... season 1, I think they wouldn't have even had him in the episode at all, and then we'd be like, well, why'd you find him type of thing. So at least they did something with it.
Again, like you said, I'm glad they're doing something with this, because that was something I've been complaining about too, is like people aren't reacting how they should. Like, they got over eating Jackie way too quickly. Aside from Ben, Ben's reaction is good. Again, Travis, after they all tried to murder him, he kind of got over that really quickly.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like things just happen and people are kind of just like, oh no, well, anyway, time to go back to what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I'm like this, that where there was like a legit consequence. Like, Javi is like traumatized and on mute, like for, because of whatever he's been going through the last couple months.
And then, Natalie comes up to Travis and like wants to know if she wants to like go out if he wants to go out hunting with her, and he's like, nah, I'm good, you can go. And then, Travis goes to have that conversation with Harvey, and when Harvey doesn't talk to him, he kind of pats him on the back. And Natalie's kind of trying to comfort, Travis, being like, he just needs some time. And Travis, like, kind of calls out, because obviously, too, he's been kind of very distant towards Natalie. He's like, you don't think you got enough of that out there? And he kind of finally calls out Natalie, like, for planting, obviously, the bloody shirt and everything like that there. And Natalie owns up to it. I don't really think there was a reason for Travis to call that out, because there was really nothing that, like, would have made it seem like that, Natalie would have planted it. This isn't like a Jesse, because I remember a lot of people complained about this in Breaking Bad. This isn't like a Jesse Pinkman situation like in Breaking Bad with the rice and thing, because Jesse, like, figured it out pretty much immediately, and there was all types of evidence before where Walt could have done it. But here, there was really no evidence that Travis could really go off of where, like, Natalie would have planted it and all that type of stuff. So
Yeah, you're right. With Jesse, he, like, figured it all out pretty much to a T. And then he got pointed away from Walt to Gus. But then, they made that fuck up where he got, like, his dope swiped, like, in the exact same way the Ryson got swiped.
Yeah.
So that made him, like, hit the dots. Yeah, you're right. With this, what if Natalie was just like, no, I really did find, like, the bloody shirt. Like, like what? Like, what? Like, he could have just had a shirt on. It got bloody, and then he ditched it. I don't know. It just feels like, it feels like that. Like Travis put this together way too quickly, or too easily. And also, well, again, like you said with the time skips, they're being really weird about it, like how much time has passed. Because, like you said, Shauna is like noticeably more pregnant here. But it feels like Travis and Natalie would have had this argument like sooner, like right after they found Javi.
Yeah, that was weird. Like, why not? I don't know why you wouldn't say anything for 2 months, type of thing.
Yeah. Well, again, has it been 2 months? I'm not even sure.
I'm just guessing too, but I think they did say at one point it was like 2 months, because if she's just typically you're pregnant for 9 months, and Shauna's about to give birth. Well, spoiler alert: Shauna's about to give birth at the, she goes into labor.
End of the episode.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, even if it was like 3 days, I'm like, you feel like Travis, again, because they're just sitting around with nothing to do. You feel like Travis would have confronted Natalie on this sooner.
I mean,
I do like how he was being distant, but then like he's obviously upset about Javi, so then he kind of like lashes out at Natalie over it.
Yeah. I just feel like him pointing out that like Natalie planted it there. He didn't. I don't think there's enough evidence to go off of that where he could have made that. I do like Natalie's reaction though, where like she doesn't try to like beat around the bush. Like she confesses immediately. And she's like, hey, listen, like we have no fucking clue how he survived out there. Like I was just trying to give you closure. And Travis, obviously, he's being irrational because he's like, that's time I could have spent looking for him, and we could have found him before he got like traumatized. Obviously, he was already out there for months, so like finding him a couple days or maybe a couple weeks earlier probably wouldn't have done anything. But again, he's being irrational, and he's like, upset that Javi's like, traumatized and not talking to everybody. I don't hate his reaction though.
I'm fine with Travis being like irrational.
Yeah, I'm fine with that because if one of my siblings like was out there for a while and I stopped looking for them, I would probably I'd probably react the same way and everything like that.
Well, I'm just saying like logically speaking, like he was already out there for months before Natalie like planted that hurt. So like him finding him sooner probably wouldn't have mattered. But like again, in Travis's like mind, I can see why he's like upset about it.
And again, as I'm gonna talk about in a second, he's mute by choice. I think he is fucked up, but he's just as we're gonna find out, he's specifically not talking to them type of thing. So, but yeah, again, I like Travis and Natalie's little fight here that they have and everything like that. And then later on in the episode, Ben's kind of going through like the maps that he's been making and everything like that. And then Javi comes up and like tells Flato just has a conversation with Ben where he says, she told me not to come back. And Ben's obviously like confused and is like, who told you not to come back? And Javi doesn't really.
And Javi just walks off. He's like, he's like, she told me not to come back. I don't need to explain that any further. Goodbye.
Yeah. But I like this because
everybody in the show is so fucking vague and speaks in riddles.
Yeah.
Again, Owen. We're gonna get to. Oh yeah, we already went past that point. Okay, can I mention my dream?
Yes. Yeah. I think we.
Okay. So because again, we went past the part where Maury was talking to Javi. So last episode, we got a wonderful scene with Maury and Ben, and it pissed me off so fucking bad. I actually had a dream about it a couple days later. Where it was that scene, where Maury like was giving shit to Ben and Natalie, but I was there, like I was one of the fucking people in the plane crash, and I just started fucking ripping into Maury, and I was like, you fucking dumbass! First of all, you have not spoken a goddamn word before this season, and of all the people to give shit to, it's to Ben and Natalie and Travis, the only 3 fucking people actually doing anything to help us fucking survive. And then I literally, I pulled out a fucking whiteboard. I don't know where in my dream, but I just pulled out a fucking whiteboard. And I started writing down and listing all the reasons Ben is awesome and Mark sucks. And I just started ripping to everybody. I was like, okay, Ben, you're cool. Natalie, you're cool. Travis, you're cool. Shauna, I get why you're useless because you're pregnant. You have a good, valid reason, but you're still useless. Taisa, you're useless. Mari, you're super useless. Fucking Misty, you're useless. And then
I hope you whipped into Misty like big time. I hope you whipped into Misty like big time too, type of thing.
I don't remember if I did. I think I just left it at that. But and I was like, and you all speak in fucking riddles. You all just say vague shit and walk off. You know what, Lottie? You have not talked to anybody about any of your stupid visions. Fucking have a normal conversation.
You know who?
Please.
You know what? We're doing this comparison video. You know who would be perfect in RVB to be in this show? Church, like the AI version of him, type of thing. He would be perfect for this show for this reason. But yeah,
I would love that. He just fucking rips and everybody starts screaming.
You know what the best? He has
to have a normal conversation.
You know what would be the best thing? He should get to the point where he wants to shoot them, but because he can't shoot for shit, he's just shooting at everyone. And then...
yeah. Well, it was what Griff said in season 8, where like Delta was being all vague, and Griff was like, "What the fuck is that? Who the fuck are you? What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yep.
Because again, I think I was just upset that like, okay, I'm fine with people saying vague shit. I'm just upset when people don't follow up on it. You know, again, because I'm like, if I were Ben and Javi said she told me you have to come back, and he walked off, I would, with my fucking crutches, speed after him, fucking tackle him, shake him, and be like, "What do you mean by that? Explain what the fuck you meant."
But that's awesome.
The conversation does not end there.
I did like this scene just in the sense that it showed that like Javi's though being mute by choice type of thing. Like it shows that him and Ben.
Like again, I'm just.
Yeah.
Again, I like how in my dream I was so mad at Mari and everybody else for like giving Ben and Natalie shit when they're the only fucking people helping.
Right.
And how like everybody's speaking in riddles. So Javi just saying that reminded me of like, God, why do you all speak in riddles? Just talk like a normal person.
Yep. Dalton would be perfect for this show too. Actually, he'd be speaking in riddles all the time, type of thing.
Yeah. Sorry to go off on that fucking tangent. That was just so funny.
But yeah, I liked all the stuff with Javi. I like that they did like a nice follow up for him being found. You know, because typically I was when I watched this at the time, I was expecting them not to really follow up on it because obviously, Javi just goes missing so often, anyways. So I'm happy that they actually he was actually around and I say chilling, but I guess he wasn't chilling. And I just love the fact that he's just not talking to these people as he shouldn't be. Like he's actually acting like he's having a good character moment here. Good for Javi, moving up in the world type of thing.
I know, right? This is like the most character we've gotten from him. Like, because even in season 1, when he was having issues with Travis, that felt more like Travis's character.
Yeah.
You know, where he's like all upset about his dad. He's like, take it out on Javi.
Yeah. And then we have the biggest probably plot of the whole episode, weirdly enough. That's pretty okay. It's what's going on with Crystal and Misty. Because we don't know what...
Speaking of fucking haven't been here.
But yeah, we see that they're still forming a friendship and everything like that. They're starting to tell each other secrets and everything like that. Which I kind of like because, the whole message is like 2 truths and a lie. They're telling each other like a lot of truths and everything like that. And it's like...
I also like how this is a good example of tying in the past and the present because obviously in the present, they're doing 2 truths and a lie, Misty and Elijah Wood.
That's cool. I
like that. That was a good tying the present together.
And some of the stuff that they tell each other is like not stuff you would tell somebody. It's stuff that you should keep private. I don't think here. I think it gets worse later. But I mean, like it gets to the level where Misty reveals her big thing. But I don't remember exactly the truths because I watched this episode like a day ago. And Crystal, again, most of the stuff's probably just made up anyways because she wasn't here before. So there's no. You could say anything you want about Crystal and I'll buy it.
She just was like in the woods already, and she just kind of like walked into the group, hoping nobody would notice.
I just like to think too, like they just like put like traits in a hat and pulled them out, and they were like, okay, this is gonna be Crystal. This is what Crystal's life is.
Crystal got fingered at a musical. Okay, weird choice. I guess that's what we're going with.
It's a Mad Libs thing that Sean and Jackie were playing in episode 2 or 1, I forget. But
one thing I do like is Mari is
oh, you actually like something Molly did. You actually like something Molly did. This is a. I'll let you talk about this because you don't get to talk positively about Molly that much.
It's like with Red versus Blue, where you're like, holy shit, I actually didn't hate CT. All right. I'm like, wow, Mari did something that made me not want to punch her in the face. It must be fucking Christmas.
Let's go to the comparison video, by the way, of hatreds. Oh, well, can I put that in the comparison video of LVB? Because that's technically that's more season 8 stuff than like season 9 stuff. Actually, I don't know.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay. But yeah, let's savor this moment because you get to talk positively about Molly, and it's on recording, so you can't ever say you didn't say anything nice about Molly.
True. I'm gonna report this video like, oh yeah, this is hate speech. It's anti. Speaking positively about Mari, it's hate speech. In a previous episode, we got a Lottie present day was having a like schizo vision where she kept seeing cards as like like playing cards, queen, king, jack, all that. And then here we get a connection where Mari is going around making everybody pick like a card hand.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to be that like whoever, I guess they decided this like off screen, that whoever like picks whatever card has to like do certain chores.
Yeah, I kind of wish they would have made this more clear because obviously a big rant you've had is that no one's doing anything. So this would have like, honestly, it would have saved you. It would have saved your vocals and and maybe you wouldn't have had that dream and all that type of stuff. You would have been a little nicer to them. So,
But everybody seems really like hesitant to like pull it. Like it seems like weird. Like there seems to be like a weird undertone where everybody like grabs it, they look at it, and like they get relieved they didn't pick a certain card.
Yeah.
And considering Lottie was having like a vision about it, I'm gonna make a prediction about it in a second. But Crystal pulls a card, and it's basically like poop duty, where they take the poop bucket and throw it over the cliff.
Yep.
And by the way, this is like the only fucking time, aside from like episode 1, where somebody else like spoke to Crystal. Because like before that, you could make. I think you made a joke about it. Like you could make the argument that Crystal was just like Missy's imaginary friend, because like she's the only person who like ever talks to Crystal.
Right.
But Mari's like, so what are you two talking about? Because actually I don't really care. And like she gets like weirded out by them. She's like, okay, whatever. But I'm gonna make a prediction that the card thing is gonna be more important. That because they ate Jackie, it's gonna end up being like whoever pulls a card, like the wrong card, gets like,
That's interesting. But
because it'd be weird if like Lottie had like the schizo vision of like the playing card, if like that wasn't like gonna be important.
Right. So I do wonder too, like maybe maybe to make it make sense, is Missy just going crazy, and is everyone else just playing along and pretending Crystal is a thing to make like Misty feel better, and like maybe make Misty not go crazy, make her think she actually like has a friend, or like is this just going to be a big continuity error? I would prefer the first, because then at least Crystal being there makes somewhat of sense. Still kind of doesn't make sense, but it will make some sense.
Either would be weird.
Oh,
because
it's weird.
Like one, it's weird in the first place because again they've apparently been going to the same school and they were on the same team.
Yeah.
So they apparently like never had a conversation and like realized they have a lot in common.
Yeah.
But like it'd be really weird if everybody was like, "Hey, Misty's like talking to herself. Like, should we bring it up?" And they're like, "Nah."
Yeah, that is weird, but again, that's the only way I can make sense out of Crystal just being a thin type of thing. So, because I don't know how else you make sense out of it type of thing. So, we just don't, I guess.
We've thought more about Crystal than the writers have.
Yes, we have. But yeah, so I did point this out because like Crystal picked a code, but like Misty didn't. So like she volunteers to go like with Crystal to do poop duty. So like did Misty actually pull the card, but she's just like going crazy and imagining like Crystal doing it or something like that type of thing.
If you're trying to point me in that direction where I'm like, I'm not sure, and then it's actually the imaginary friend, it's gonna be so funny coming back to this video.
I mean, I did that with the Thaisa thing. You just didn't get it.
Yeah,
so.
true. Where you, with the lady in the tree thing, yeah.
Yeah. And I kept trying to do that with Adam, Jeff being the blackmailer. I was trying to pull you to both directions type of thing.
Yeah, I think I was pretty 50-50, and then like towards the end, I was getting like 70 Jeff, like 30 Adam.
I pulled you I pulled you in a different direction when like I made mention that there's more of a reason that Adam's at this bar, and then they just I found out it wasn't.
It wasn't. Yeah.
But anyhow, so later that day, Misty and Crystal.
No, I'm gonna call her Mistle from now on.
You go for that. Mistle. Yeah. Like just chatting, having a nice conversation. They're telling each other really embarrassing secrets that I don't think you would tell many people. Like Mistle mentions that she doesn't like deodorant, so she just pretended she lost it on the plane. I'm pretty sure probably people figured that out pretty quickly. I'm pretty sure that wasn't a secret.
I feel like again from all the all the people dying and like the starving and all that. I feel like nobody really gave a shit about Crystal's deodorant.
Well,
Well, actually, then again, maybe Mari gave a shit because Mari's priority are fucking.
Well, I'm saying she doesn't. She's saying she never wore deodorant though, so I'm pretty sure they figured that out even pre-plane crash. Yeah, and then like this is getting they're starting to mention like a lot of like really like I said stuff that you wouldn't mention to like anybody, and then Crystal like starts to have like Mistle. Just pass. I'm just gonna call past Misty Mistle too. I feel like that's gonna make it better. But she mentions to Mistle, it makes her like double pinky swear that she won't tell her like this secret. And I've made this mistake before, AJ, because and I think you've caught it. But like, I was like, oh no, that. But I gave you a spoiler by accident. So we find out that Crystal's name isn't Crystal. Her name's really Kristen. But the first day of team, everyone gave her a nickname called Crystal the Pistol, which doesn't really sound like a good nickname to have, but whatever. You do you. It sounds like Jackie gave her that nickname too, because the popular girl type of thing. I think
right,
Jackie did that.
Everybody's like, oh, hey, if you're on the team, arbitrary nickname. Crystal the Pistol. Okay, there you go. That's it.
Crystal just didn't tell anybody because, like, she was worried they weren't going to like any... Like, no one would really... I should say no one would really like her, but like they would stop. She wouldn't like feel accepted. So her real name is Kristen, and I'm pretty sure I called her Kristen a few times on this channel. And you were like, no, Owen, it's Crystal, and I'm like, oh, that's right, because it wasn't Crystal, it's Kristen. So I kept, I kept confusing it and everything like that. So
Crystal, you knew her name, you knew her real name, and you kept calling her fake name.
I had to do it for your benefit because I was giving you spoilers. So.
Oh, thank God, Owen, man. That really changed the fucking show. Owen, not gonna lie, when Crystal revealed her real name is Kristen, I like spazzed out on the floor. I was like, oh my God, what? I am your father wishes it could, or the director being the church wishes it could be that insane.
Hey, at least I kept it on after I stayed tuned watching the Crystal's name reveal. I didn't even want to sit around and watch the reveal of Church being the director. I didn't even want to, that's how that. So it must be better. So.
Oh, and we're not even there in Avatar yet. But at the end of book 2, when Zuko turned bad again, that betrayal hurt, but not nearly as bad as when Crystal revealed she was actually Kristen.
Yeah.
That hurt me in my heart.
And
I was about to jump off the cliff, just like Crystal was about to.
Yeah, then, Mistle, feels like, this is a pretty big secret to tell somebody, so she feels like... Yeah, why not? So she feels like, she should tell Kristen/Crystal a secret. It's a pretty good secret. It's a secret you shouldn't tell anybody. So she mentions, what happened at the end of episode 2 when she destroyed the plane's transmission. And, I do like how they build this up because, like, the music gets, like, really intense and, like, Crystal's, like, I'm sorry, not Crystal, Mistel is, like, struggling to, like, get the words out and everything like that. Like, she could have gone back and just, like, not told this secret type of thing.
Yeah, I don't know what Misty was thinking here. I guess she just, like, got caught up in the moment.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, to be fair to her, she does pretty much immediately figure out she fucked up. Like, she sees Crystal, like, Crystal go, like, oh, shit face. And then Mistel was like, oh, just kidding.
I do like, though, the build-up to this, though. Like, Crystal goes from being, like, really happy. Sorry, no, Kristen. You gotta call her who.
Yeah, pretty much how it went.
Yeah, I like the build up to this, and then like Misty realizes she fucked up and is like, okay, I was just kidding. You should have seen your face. And then Crystal realizes like you're not that good an actor. And I really like that connection, because episode 3 was like about Crystal teaching Misty how to act and everything like that. And she's like, yeah, you're not that good of an actor, type of thing.
Yeah, I do like that because if Crystal because it's pretty clear. Yeah, Misty was like, realized, oh shit, and try to double back. Yeah, I do like that. Kristen was just like, oh, yeah, no, yeah, you're full of shit.
And then, Crystal starts calling Misty like a psycho and like doesn't want to deal with her anymore. And Misty's just like, no, please, you can't tell anybody. And obviously Crystal's just like, well, yeah, no, I gotta tell people this because everyone's probably waiting to get everyone's just sitting around waiting to get rescued. And they probably thinking like, what the hell happened to the transmission? And if they realize that the fin hasn't gone off, maybe they'll actually like try to do shit, except Molly, they'll try to do shit and all that type of stuff and get rescued and everything like that.
I do like how Kristen ends up throwing shade at Mistel, where she's like, what are you going to do, poison me? Well, I do, because that was something I wondered, because I'm like, it's kind of weird how Kristen kind of like became friends with Misty so quickly when everybody's pissed at her for the poisoning thing.
Yeah.
So I do kind of like that. Like she ended up like holding a grudge about that. It seems like, and like threw that back at Misty.
Even though he went there before, though, but whatever.
Yeah, even though you weren't there for that, you didn't even exist for that.
But this is confirmed, though. She was part of. I guess she was part of that. Like, I guess it doesn't confirm that though, because Ben was also poisoned.
She was just there, just off camera. She was. Whatever.
Yeah. But whatever. I don't know what she was doing all that stuff. But then Mistel tries to get out of it at first by like basically offering to like basically do all like her chores and like type of thing. But then Misty gets like aggressive and threatens to kill Crystal/Kristen if she tells anybody. But before anything can really happen, because they were on a cliff. This is the same cliff that Thaisa was at when she was sleepwalking and stuff. She ends up falling off the cliff and dying. Should have brushed that shit off. Freaking cliff fell off. Probably hit something higher than that and relocated. And he was fine. He only broke a couple of... Yeah, so...
He only broke all his bones, yeah. Do you think she landed in the shit?
Yeah, I like to think so.
Yeah. I like to think so.
Well, actually, no, maybe not though, because it was snowing at the time, so the snow probably covered it. So probably not actually. So
no, I'm gonna go with that. Heck, that's my canon. That Crystal landed in the shit. She died the way she was born, just from the shit.
But yeah, do you think this was this was a pretty big debate at the time when this happened? Before I give my opinion. I think Misty... Well, I'll just give mine first, and then you can give yours. I don't think Misty meant to kill her in this instant. Obviously, based on her reaction. It ended up working out really well for Misty later on, type of thing.
Well, I think the idea of, like, Misty was getting, like, upset. She was like, oh, my God, everybody's going to find out that, I'm the reason we're all trapped here. So she threatened to kill her. Crystal, like, got scared, stepped back, and then fell off the cliff.
Yeah.
And obviously Misty was like, holy shit, I did not think that was going to happen.
Right. And then later on, like, she goes and tries to give her like.
But yeah, then it's kind of Mistle is just like, well, I guess time to make the best of it time to make the best of it out of a bad situation.
Yeah. So she goes, but she does go and tries to give her like CPR and all that type of stuff. She does it to like the tone of that song "Staying Alive," which I think is really cool because in the present, like before, like we even saw this scene, like Elijah Wood and Misty were like that song was on and she like shut that song off. So I really like that. That was a good tie-in.
I didn't know that's a good detail. I do like the detail of like when Misty was doing the CPR. You see blood kind of like gushing out of Crystal's mouth.
Yeah.
So obviously she was pumping her chest, and because she was like bleeding internally, it was just like pushing the blood.
I mean, again, what? Just brush that shit off. Flicking Griff fell off higher than that, and he only broke a couple of legs. No, I don't even think he broke his legs. I think he just cracked him, and then he's good. You know.
Yeah, he was good. He was good just in time for season 7.
Yeah. And when did season 7 come out? Not long after that. So.
Yeah, it was like right after. Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, that's the beauty of off-screen stuff, you know. If that had happened to not Misty, Crystal off-screen, she probably would have lived, type of thing, you know.
Oh yeah, honestly, listen, if this show just did a time jump, that Crystal falls off into the episode, next episode she would have been fine.
Right.
She would have been like, "Hey guys, isn't it crazy how like I fell off that cliff?"
Didn't it happen to Griff though again in one of the miniseries we just reviewed recently? He fell off something else.
Yeah, he fell off that wall. Griff falls off a lot of stuff.
So like, good thing honestly, Griff would have been a perfect swap in real quick for like Crystal right there, like as like a stunt double, because like, you know, that would have been awesome. Then again, Griff probably wouldn't have done his chores. Griff probably wouldn't have done his chores though when he got the crowd picked.
Yeah, so. True. He would have let the shit bucket pile up. He wouldn't have gone through.
It's awesome. Yeah. So what else? Oh yeah, and then like Misty's like saying like goodbye, Crystal. Like I love you, bestie, and all that. Which a lot of that was ad-libbed, which was pretty cool. Like. That the actress that actually plays Misty add that, so that was cool.
I do like that. It kind of adds a bit of humanity to Misty because she's obviously a psycho, and obviously Crystal, like in her last moments, fucking hated Misty.
Yeah.
Because Misty was like, "Hey, bestie," and Crystal was like, "I'm not your best friend." So I do kind of like that, even though they had a fight. Misty is like Mistle is still like upset about it. Like she obviously, again, like you said, seems like she didn't mean for that to happen.
And then doing all this, this is gonna benefit Misty because the snow is starting to like fall on Crystal, so it shows like she's gonna get like buried in it. And later on, when she goes back to the cabin, she like tells everyone that like she lost Crystal like in the wilderness and everything like that. But there's something else that's going on like at the same time that I'll get to later.
I was about to see, so there's a storm, and I'm like, okay, that's really good odds. You know, I'm like, okay, so. It must be mystery bullshit. Because like, what are the fucking odds that happens like at that specific time? You know.
Good for Misty. You know, maybe she knew it was gonna snow that day. You know, she.
Yeah, and she just has her phone on her. Like she has like the weather app. Like, oh, it's gonna be a snowstorm today.
Yeah. So I'll tell Crystal this then and see how it goes, and if it, you know, if.
Yeah, if it doesn't work out, I love that. Misty is like, I'm gonna spill the secret, and if she doesn't approve, she will die. Yeah, I like how we were talking about how it was like a spur of the moment. Misty like immediately regretted it. No, she fucking planned it. And she's like, okay, so if I'm gonna tell her, and if she doesn't fully like it, I will murder her.
It would be awesome too if it's like, you know, because you know sometimes you get the weather wrong. If the weather just said the weather was warm that day, it didn't even like snow.
It was a nice sunny day. It was like in SpongeBob where they're like, let the winter come, and then like it immediately the snow melts and it's like all sunny out.
Yeah. But then you know, you're probably wondering though, what's Shauna been doing all this time? You know, we haven't really mentioned her that much.
I was not wondering that, but continue.
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to our fans, AJ. I was talking to our fans. Our 6 fans that watch these videos. I was talking to them.
Do you think Elijah Wood's one of our fans?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I gotta get to that.
I think he'll be more of a fan when we do LVB season 10. I think he'll like that. So
yeah.
But
during his next movie, he's like, "Hey, shout out to Owen and AJ."
But I'm trying to think of I think the only thing that Shauna had done up other than that like that circle thing, the morning meeting, she was like sleeping, and Lolly was being very creepy, and like rubbing Shauna's stomach and saying stuff to a baby and everything like that. And obviously Shauna.
The only thing we hear before Shauna wakes up is like, "You're gonna change everything."
Yeah, that line means a lot, type of thing. So.
And I mean, Shauna does make a good point of like Lottie's like obsessed with this baby. Like it's fucking creepy. Yeah,
because I forgot to mention this in the morning meeting. She mentioned it she mentioned him again, like the baby's gonna be a boy type of thing. So, and there's no like, obviously there's no way that Shauna could even know that anyone could know the sex of this child. So
I would love they just have like an ultrasound machine out there.
That'd be awesome. And like Shauna doesn't want to know the sex, but because they don't know what they're doing, they fuck up and reveal the sex by accident or something. That'd be awesome.
So yeah, Shauna gets really pissed at Lottie, and it's one, obviously understandable, but it is a little weird just because like we hadn't really gotten much of like because like it seems like this was kind of like the breaking point.
Yeah,
like Shauna is really sick of Well, it's weird because like Natalie and Thaisa have had like multiple episodes of they're like, okay, Lottie's a little fucking. I'm not liking Lottie.
Right.
Whereas Shauna, there wasn't really much of a build up with like them having being at odds.
They were actually on
seems like he gets along pretty well with Lottie.
Yeah, they were on pretty decent terms, like last episode stuff.
And then here she argues with Thaisa, like she's fucking creepy and she's like weird and like I don't fucking like her. It's like, where is this coming from?
I feel like I'm gonna talk about this, but I feel like this was just a shitty reason for like Shauna to be out like in the wilderness and then like her to go into labor. They wanted.
We'll get to that in a second. When you get to that, I'm gonna fucking rant about that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I think they wanted to give a reason for Shauna to storm off, so she wouldn't be there. I mean, I don't know. Maybe go out and try to hunt. That'd be a good reason. Maybe do that.
I don't know. I like how even in my dream, I gave Shauna some credit. I'm like, you're useless, but you're 7 months pregnant, so I give you some slack.
I'm just saying that would be. You don't need to write a reason in. You could just write.
Yeah, I just have her like fuck off. Like you don't really need a reason. Just have her out for a walk or something.
Yeah, nice little. I don't know. I wouldn't be walking in that snow.
I was gonna say, I'm like, okay, of all the people there, don't have the pregnant lady go hunting for animals.
True.
That's like the one person there aside from Ben who like has an excuse to not be hunting.
Yeah, but anyhow, Shauna storms off because like, I mean, the reason she storms off makes sense because it's like it's the first time Thaisa like hasn't stuck up for her, and she's like sticking up for Lottie, not really sticking up for Lottie, but like. Kind of taking Lottie's side a little bit, and she's like the one that she wouldn't expect, and she's like really the only like true friend that Shauna thinks that she has out there, because obviously Jackie died, and Shauna and Thaisa get along real well and everything like that. So her breaking point was rad. But again, I think they wrote this scene out for a reason I'm going to talk to you about later. But then they're out there, and Shauna and Thaisa, she's kind of not really talking to Thaisa. She's kind of ignoring her. And Shauna's upset with Thaisa about the fact that, like, it doesn't really seem like she's taking her side anymore. And all of a sudden now, like, she's starting to go to, like, the morning meetings, and everything like that. I guess if Shauna gets a job, she's not going to the morning meetings. I guess we learned that. So, I do like Thaisa's reasoning though. She mentions the fact that I am going to this stuff, but I don't actually believe in this stuff. But like, hey, I'm not sleepwalking for a change, and I don't really think Thaisa puts the connection that like the morning meetings themselves are the reason they're helping, but her going is helping. So like she's basically taking what she can get when it comes to her like not sleepwalking and all that type of stuff. But she doesn't really put the connection. Because she does say, the morning meetings are helping, but I don't think she believes that. But I think if it's helping, why not go type of thing. So,
yeah. But it seems like Shauna here was more upset that Thaisa like didn't have her back rather than like anything else.
Yeah. And she's also like freaking out. Yeah. And she's also freaking out because, she's like... Everyone's getting really excited about this baby, but she's not because she has to like basically raise it out there and doesn't really know what to do once the baby's born. And as we're seeing, she's very close to giving birth. Well, very close.
Close is an understatement.
to giving birth and going into labor, so she's worried about what the baby's gonna do. And before really the conversation could get furthered, Shauna gets a pain in her stomach. I
will say, I like that Thaisa, like, when she's explaining herself, she's like, listen, I'm not going to apologize for, like, doing something that, like, is helping me. So I'm like, yeah, Thaisa really wasn't in the wrong here.
Not at all.
If she apologized to Shauna, I would have been, like, pissed off.
Yeah, I would have been too. I did like this.
Yeah, it was fine. Look, I get why Shauna's being irritable, because, again, she's, like, pregnant, she's, like, obviously stressed out. And I think because Jackie is dead, she's kind of like, upset because, like you said, she like Thais is like your only like other close friend out here.
Right.
And she got like defensive that like Thaisa wasn't like having her back. I mean, my issues are that like again they didn't really set up much of a thing between Lottie and Shauna, like that they were having like that Shauna was like upset that Lottie was like being all obsessed with the baby. And Shauna, I guess she stormed off because she was angry. But I'm like, okay, she got that far because they ended up getting lost.
Yes.
In the storm. And I'm like, Shauna, you're fucking like about the baby. How'd you walk that far away?
Especially because that's how Jackie like died. When you type of thing, like you would think they would be thinking of that, like died freezing to death and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. So I'm just like, all right, Shauna, you're just fucking stupid.
Remember I talked about this with the abortion thing? Like, what was Shauna's plan there, type of thing? And, like, we were trying to figure...
I feel like that was a bit more understandable. Like, okay, she's not thinking. I mean, I guess here she was upset. She stormed off. But again, I'm just like, okay, Shauna, I get storming off and, like, going for a walk. But, like, you got that far where you got fucking lost.
Right. But, yeah, so... Shauna starts to feel pains in her stomach. I didn't know she was going into labor. I thought she just had, like, some type of contraction or some... Because sometimes when people are pregnant, they'll get, like, pains for a second and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, I kind of figured they were setting that up. That like, she's going to give birth.
Yeah. But, yeah, they... I guess that's the main reason I didn't really like the fact that, Shauna got... did that. Because I'm like, okay, so they just had Shauna do this... just to make it more of a struggle for her to go over there. Like, the writers had to write a reason Shauna had to be out there. She couldn't just be out there for, like, a walk or something like that. Or, like, she could have been out there...
No, she was gathering berries or something,
Yeah. But anyhow, so doing all this, Natalie and Shauna... Not Natalie and Shauna. They don't talk. Shauna and Thaisa are struggling to get back to the cabin. And this is all this time... I can't seem to remember people's names today, by the way, in YellowJackets. I think this person's this person. I don't know.
Making 2 weeks, he's forgot everybody exists. Yeah, it's all good.
But then, when Crystal, not Crystal because she's dead, when Misty comes in and tells everyone about, like, Crystal, no one cares, because Crystal never existed. And they're like, wait a minute. They're like, Shauna and Thaisa are out there and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you're right. Because, when she says, like, the storm, we got separated, everybody's just immediately like, oh, my God, Thaisa, Shauna. That is a good point. That, like, nobody seemed to give a shit that, like, Crystal was out there.
Kind of reminds you of that scene in OVB where, like, everyone thought that, like, Simmons died, and they're like...
Oh, yeah, and Simmons died. And then they're like, oh, yeah, so, like, should we say something at his funeral? And they're like, I don't know, what did he like?
Yeah.
They like don't know anything about the guy. That's funny.
I like how the guy that I mean, I did just watch it today, but like I'm making all these. I'm the one that's making the RVB comparisons today instead of you, type of thing. It's like
yeah, you're right. The last 30 minutes from Dragon Ball. I'm like, oh wow, you really are taking over my shows.
I bet you're just like I don't think you're gonna show me.
I'm just on the comparisons, I guess.
I don't think you're gonna show me any more shows because I keep taking them over. Like, yeah, I'm not showing him any more shows anymore. Type of thing.
Yeah, I got to amp up my references.
But yeah, so everyone kind of goes out there and they kind of do what they did in the morning meeting, which is good. At work you're supposed to take your morning meetings and apply it to your work, so that's good.
There you
go. They did that. Because this is 9 to 5 to them, they got it.
I got good news for you. At my job, where I got fired after a week, one of my days was just like a bunch of paperwork, and it's like, hey, don't sexually harass your coworkers. It's like, oh, thank God. I was really planning on, Owen, and I'm getting a prison job. And one of them is like, have you ever been to prison? No. Have you ever raped anybody in prison? No. And I'm like, oh, but you know what? I was really planning on doing that. But, now that we've like had that morning meeting where we went over, they're like, hey, don't assault people in prison. I'm like, oh, well, I mean, now that you've said that, of course I won't.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, so good morning meeting stuff here. And they start listening to like nature and everything like that. Thaisa kind of starts to buy into it. I do like Thaisa because I don't think Thaisa does it because she's believing. I think she's just panicking to try to get like Shauna to like the cabin. She's just willing to try anything at that point. So they end up getting back. I do what?
Yeah, that was a little underwhelming. Where like it cuts away and it's like, hey, we're back.
I think that was more of like I'll talk about this later. More of a bad cut from the past to the present because I think they cut to the present and then they get back like and they're like back like when they cut back from the present to the past. I will say that I'll talk about it more so at the end. But some of the bits in this episode cutting from the past to the present weren't very good. Not like RVB season 9 levels. I should say of bad, but of not good. But of but this wasn't one of the best episodes that YellowJackets has had, cutting back from the past and present. Yeah, they get back to the cabin and Shauna's in labor. That's it.
Yep.
They ended on a pretty good cliffhanger there, I guess, because obviously the next episode. This is something that's been built up since episode 4 of season 1, episode 5 type of thing. So they built to this
been for a while. Yeah, so it's
like. I will say this because of the stuff from the past when I watched this episode originally. Because again, I don't know. I probably like this episode a lot more because obviously the stuff with Crystal was out really well acted, and obviously the big thing is how it's always about how you finish sometimes, and the big ending is what's going to happen with Shauna's pregnancy because obviously everyone's made theories about what's going to happen. But we're finally at this moment, and it made sense that they were going to do it in episode 6 because that's kind of the halfway point ish. Overall, really well done here. Again, I don't really think they really needed to do that whole bullshit of Shauna storming off and doing all that stuff. But like,
that was kind of I don't really get the point, especially because they get it like pretty easily.
Yeah, but it's definitely that initial excitement where, like, if you haven't seen the rest of the show, you're like, oh, what's going to happen the next episode? And I feel bad for you because I said I didn't want to take a break. Hey, but that's what you had to wait the same amount of time I did to watch the next episode because I had to wait 2 weeks. You had to wait 2 weeks also.
That was poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah, so there you go. But overall, everything in the past I thought was I didn't really love the past before we did this video, but I thought the past was like maybe a solid thumb up, but like it's like this type of thing. It's like not fully there.
Like verging on middle. Yeah, I probably more towards the middle for me.
Yeah.
Because I don't really give a shit about the Crystal plot, and I'm a little disappointed by it. I'm like, okay, so the writers already pulled her out of their asses. Fitting how she came from their asses and then fell in a bunch of shit and died. And then she just kind of was like Misty's buddy.
Yeah.
And again, like I joked about it, but like she really could have been Misty's imaginary friend, because fucking like she never talks to anybody, except for like twice. And it's like quick. And again, it's like I don't know if she's real. She's not the imaginary friend. Then it's like weird that her and Misty have like never fucking been friends before this.
Right.
And if she is the imaginary friend, then they have not done a good job at like displaying that.
Especially because, like you said, she's talked. I'm pretty sure one of the times she talked to other people was when Misty wasn't even like there and all that type of stuff. So.
And yeah, so this happens where Misty confides and she tells a secret, and then she threatens to kill her, and then she just falls to her death. And I'm like, what was the point of that? Because it feels like nothing really happened with that,
Right.
Like that something bad happened, and like she immediately fucking dies.
Yeah, I will say this now, just because this is really weird too because one of the big plots they're trying to get over with like Elijah Wood, maybe we'll talk about it when you talk about the present, is he's trying to obviously romantically get linked with Misty, but obviously she doesn't want to do that because it seems like something happened with Crystal that makes you not want to build a close bond, but that doesn't really make sense either because most of her season 1 thing was her trying to be friends with like Natalie type of thing.
Oh, it's also present day Misty. One of her first scenes was like her on a date.
Yes. So she.
And well, again, I'm just like imagine all the drama between Shauna and Jackie in season 1. Imagine like Jackie finds out that like Shauna was pregnant, and then she just like had a stroke. She just like died. Like we had that scene where she was like reading the journal.
Yeah.
And then she just like dies. That's kind of what this feels like. It's like, oh, that was just like the plot line is just like gone. It would have been interesting if Crystal was like conflicted on like like how she feels about Misty. It's like, oh, do I tell everybody what happened? Like Misty's just threatened to kill me. Do I like do I risk getting on her bad side? Like what's gonna happen with that?
Yeah, I would have liked that.
Kind of just it just feels like we set up some drama. Well, it feels like this friendship just kind of got like shoved down our throats.
Yeah.
They had a fight. Crystal died. I'm like, oh, okay. What the fuck was the point of that?
Because a big thing that happened in the present at one point was there was Natalie was gonna go visit Travis, and Natalie immediately knew like that like Crystal like messed with her call type of thing. I thought like maybe they could have done somewhere she told like Natalie or something like privately and all that type of stuff. So
and it's also just like I'm trying to think of like, okay, what is this conveying to the audience? What's the point? Because again, it's like, okay, they became friends, they had a fight, Crystal dies, Misty's sad. If it's to be like, oh shit, Misty's crazy, she got her friend killed, it's like, okay, I already knew Misty was crazy. You're not really hitting me with any new information yet.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just kind of like, what the fuck was the point of Crystal?
Yeah, it gave someone money, AJ. Gave somebody. This could be a good starting point for this.
5 weeks. Okay, great. 4 more weeks than I got. I'm a coffee job.
Also, too, this person could be a big actress. This could be the starting point for her and all that type of stuff. I was in a show where I wasn't.
Again, it's like Disney shows where they introduce a character and then they like write them off the show so they can go beyond like their own little like spinoff.
Yeah. Yeah, but the past was all right though. It's better than the present.
You're more towards thumbs up. I'm like,
yeah, but it's all right. I thought the scene with Misty and stuff was acted well. That was good, and I like the stuff with.
I did a good job. I'm just like the writing is.
Yeah, okay. But I thought I liked Harvey's stuff. I thought he was cool.
Yeah, I know, right? They actually like are doing something with Javi. It's like, holy shit! You're making him a character.
One big thing I want to mention I liked too was when everyone was doing that like the morning meetings and stuff. I like that Natalie was kind of in the background for that. Like she was out there but didn't really participate. I thought they kind of kept her in the background. That was cool. It's cool. It's just nice.
Yeah. So overall, path was fine. Now the present. So I guess we'll do Misty's because it's pretty
We should
quick.
make this a competition, by the way. Who talks? I went an hour and 12 minutes, so you have to let's see if you can beat that.
Oh, I also timed in quite a bit. I feel like we were pretty even the last couple episodes. We were both about like an hour each.
You have more things to talk about too.
So again, because last episode her plot line was like pointless, where they were just like we're looking for the purple people, and they're like, oh, we couldn't find the purple people. That's sad. They're driving around, being like, how are we going to find the purple people? And they find them because they drove by a sign. They're like, oh shit, that's them. We found them. Awesome. Cool. Fucking, what was the point of the last episode?
I don't know.
What the fuck was the point?
It was pretty easy. They found it pretty easily too. There wasn't a struggle.
They really found it. Like, again, the writers were just like, oh hey, so we kind of forgot that to have them find the purple people. How are we gonna have them find them this episode? I don't know. They're just like driving and they fucking see a sign. I guess. Fuck it.
I mean, I'm not really. I'm not familiar with like cult stuff, so maybe maybe they're not threatened to be. Maybe they don't care that they get found. So like whatever. But like it seemed like based on last episode, it was like a struggle to find this, and then they just found it. It was like, oh, okay, that's it.
That's what I mean. I'm just they were just fucking driving around, and they're just like, oh hey, look, that sign has the same symbol as like the jars that the purple people have. I guess that's them. Cool.
Yeah.
So again, what the point of the last episode?
Nothing.
Okay, so nothing at all. They just found them super fucking easy this time.
They needed something for Misty to do. That's what it was.
I still wonder why. I'm like, they just have like Google Maps, GPS'd it. Like, are they not on Google? I guess not.
How did they even get? Were they just driving around too? Like anywhere? Like where were they going?
That's what I mean. I'm like, okay, what were they doing? They were just driving around. But we get a bit of I guess talking, because the whole name of the episode comes from this. So Elijah Wood is like, hey, let's play Two Truths and a Lie.
They're all lies because it's Elijah Wood. He's just sitting hiding or whatever.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? He's like, okay, so Elijah Wood is like, okay, my Two Truths and a Lie are, I was in Lord of the Rings, I was in Red vs. Blue, and I was in Spy Kids 3. And she's like, you weren't in Spy Kids 3. He's like, nope, I was in Spy Kids 3. They were all truths. I was in all of them. I'm Elijah Wood. That's the joke. Okay, no, but his truths were actually, there was like a his father could be like a famous person. I forget who he said. I forget the other truths.
He like owns Taco Bell stock, but can't eat tacos or whatever.
Yeah, and what was the other one?
Oh yeah, so he has like a goat named like Billy that like makes cheese or whatever.
Oh yeah, and like Billy's a girl, or something. So they were all truths, and Misty was like, those were all truths, and he's like, yeah, but hey, on the plus side, you found out 3 truths, so why don't you tell me some truths about yourself? And I forget what Misty said, actually.
This is just bullshit, just to find the cult.
I'm about to say, I'm trying to like come up with something here. I'm kind of like, okay, it's really important. They're kind of just trying to establish.
This is Red versus Blue. This is Red versus Blue season 9, just contained in 2 minutes. That's what it is.
Yeah. The present where I'm just like, okay, they're kind of just like talking, and like nothing really comes of it. And then they end up finding the purple people because again, they just the writers were just like, here they are. Here they are. You don't have to work for it. You just find them randomly.
Remember that like struggle that like Wash went through in like season 8 to find the meadow and all that shit? Like how good that was, and like Command.
We're just like on the road. They're like, oh hey, look, there's the meadow. I guess we found them. Cool.
Yeah.
But then because it's a cult, and they make a big deal about like their families not being in communication with them. When Misty gets to the gate, they in looking for Natalie. They let Natalie know that she has a visitor.
That's right.
Okay. Again, I'm pretty sure they made it a big deal that like what's her face had to like sneak out to like talk with her mom.
Yeah, I guess that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, I guess not. So now I don't know. Is like Natalie even a part of the cult? So like maybe it doesn't count for her.
Yeah, I guess she's not in it yet, but like I don't understand this.
I don't know. But yeah, Natalie comes out and Misty's like, "Oh, hey, I was worried about you because you got kidnapped." And Natalie's like, "Yeah, I was kidnapped, but like it's chill now. Like fuck off." And then she just leaves. And I'm like, it is kind of weird how Natalie, like again, Natalie was kind of like trying to get rid of Misty last season, but it is kind of weird how Natalie didn't explain this like at all.
Yeah, that was weird. Obviously,
I figure Natalie knows Misty well enough to know Misty's like not going to give up on this.
Yeah.
So and like she literally admitted, like, yeah, they did kidnap me, but like it's fine.
Obviously, because Natalie was doing this because she's trying to. Because randomly this episode, she decided again she was gonna like try to bring down like Lottie's cult. So like she was trying to.
Natalie had such fucking bad luck. She was gonna go into the office last episode, but then they were like, oh hey, go like with Fork Girl, and it was just like okay. And then this episode, she was gonna break into the office, and they're like, hey, Misty's there. And so she's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Twice now, I get interrupted at the worst fucking moment.
Yeah, Misty's plot was very, up to this point, was very uneventful. Also, to the build-up to this was, like, Misty was trying to get here, and then, like, it was very disappointing when she actually got there. She just found it, like you said. I did like that Natalie was trying to get rid of Misty, because obviously the whole thing was she was trying to... because obviously, like, her and Elijah would have a conversation about this. I think what Misty thinks later on is it's just like cult 101, but that wasn't what was going on here. Natalie was trying to get rid of Misty because, like, she's trying to bring down this cult, and Misty's kind of fucking that up.
Yeah. Well, it's also weird how this happens. So, Misty, again, all of her information is Natalie was in her room, a bunch of purple people broke into the room, dragged her out in a van, and fucking drove her to wherever the fuck they are now.
Yeah.
Like, presumably, like, hours away. So, Misty finds where the cult is, and she just kind of, like, knocks on their door, and it's like, hey, is Natalie there?
Yeah, I didn't really do a big break-in or anything like that, so...
Yeah, I was like, it's really, because, like, again, she doesn't know Lottie's the head of it. Because Natalie's like, oh, yeah, it's Lottie's cult, and she's like, whoa, Lottie.
Yeah.
Like, she's, like, surprised. So I'm kind of... Well, it's also, like, I guess they didn't really do anything with that plot line, because remember last season, you brought up that Misty said, like, Natalie, you don't know the lengths I've gone to, like, keep you safe, or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were kind of implying, like, a connection between Misty and Lottie.
Yeah, that all just went away.
Yeah, they didn't really do anything with
I
that.
do wonder if that was a thing where the fans, enough fans, like, maybe figured it out so they didn't want to do that type of thing. Like, it was out there enough where they wanted to make it a twist type of thing.
I mean, obviously from episode 1 of this season, like, obviously Misty wasn't, like, involved with the kidnapping, but I kind of figured there would be some connection between Lottie and Misty.
Nope.
But, no, I guess not.
Guess not. Because as we find out, Misty doesn't even know that now, like you said, Lottie owns this college. She didn't even know that Lottie was like...
Lottie, a.k.a. the one who got sent to a mental health institution in Switzerland. Like, it seems, and as Misty says later to Elijah Wood, she's like, I kept tabs on everybody, but I didn't know Lottie has a cult. So
yeah.
It seems like Misty, again, like you said, just was like completely unaware of like anything Lottie was doing.
That does seem kind of weird because, like, I might be talking out of my ass here. That would be something that, like, Misty would be able to access the easiest because isn't she like a nurse? Like, shouldn't she be able to, like, find a way to access stuff like that?
So she says, I've been keeping tabs on everybody, but I didn't know about Lottie.
Yeah.
So it's confusing. So either Misty, again, either she has been keeping tabs on everybody, but, like, Lottie was, like, an outlier. She had no fucking clue what Lottie was doing. Or Misty thought she had tabs on Lottie, but, like, this cult thing was, like, a mystery. Like, she, like, I'm like, either way. It's like either she knew nothing about Lottie, which is weird, or she knew about Lottie, but, like, this cult thing was, like, a secret. But again, like, there's so many people here. I find it hard to believe Misty couldn't find out about it.
Especially because everyone in the town knows about it.
But yeah, again, everybody in town knows, but, like, it's kind of secret.
Yeah. They're so vague. Like I said, they speak in riddles. They're so vague.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what the no conversation. I was gonna say I was pretty middle of it. I was pretty middle on this episode, and now the more I'm talking about it, the more upset I'm.
So it's the present sometimes. It fucking ruins it. Like.
Yeah, well, because again, it's like the more I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, right. The whole connection between Misty and Lottie, that's going nowhere. It's really fucking weird that Misty is like knocking on their door when, as far as she knows, they have kidnapped Natalie.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know.
Just imagine, like,
and then again, I don't know why Natalie thinks Misty is gonna fuck off.
Yeah. Just imagine, imagine like, remember that episode of Breaking Bad when Walter White, went missing and, like, Hank was trying to find him. It took him, like, the whole episode to find him. Imagine Walter White just...
Imagine he gets to the desert. He finally finds Tuco. And he's like, hey, where's my brother? And he's like, I don't know. And Hank is like, understandable. Have a good day, sir. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yep.
Like, that's literally what it is. Like, he did all this fucking work to go get there. And then he finally finds them, and he's like, nah.
Actually, I bet if Walter White just came out and was like, yeah, Hank, I'm fine. I'm good, man. Like, get out of here, dude.
By the way, I'm a drug dealer. I'm Heisenberg. But, like, it's chill. And he's like, oh, okay, Walt. See you later, buddy.
As long as you're not, like, dying, I guess.
Yeah. It's so strange. I get Natalie doesn't want to deal with Misty.
Oh, yeah, I get that.
I'm just like, oh, and if you were, like, kind of mad at me, but then you, like, got kidnapped, and then, like, I went to go find you, and you're like, fuck off. Like, would you expect me to just, like, be like, oh, okay, bye. You know?
Not at all. I would hope not.
Like, I will do nothing about this. I will not let anybody know you're here. I will not call the cops. I will fucking do nothing with this.
Yep. Not one thing.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess Natalie really thought that was the end of it. She told Missy to fuck off, and she wouldn't go back to doing what she was doing.
That also didn't make sense character-wise either, because obviously, like, I guess Natalie's so focused on taking on Lottie's cold, she's not thinking clearly, but she had to have known that wasn't going to be the end of it, right? Right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, she kind of just, like, leaves. Like, she goes back to what she was doing. Like, does she think that's the end of it? Like, Missy's not going to do anything else?
I guess so. You know, you have a mission to take down a cult that you forgot about two episodes. You got to focus on that, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, Natalie breaks into the office super easy, barely an inconvenience. Again, I think it's so funny that she got interrupted the last 2 times, and then now she just like does it off screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, she breaks in, goes through some files, and then she comes out to the cult. You know, Lottie's around everybody, and she's like, "You have information on everybody," and everybody's just kind of like, "Yeah, we know. We gave her that information."
I was so disappointed with this, even when I watched it at the time.
Like, literally everybody was like, Misty's like, "You have information on everybody," and everybody's like, "Who? You guys." She has, "Who asked?"
Yeah. I think why I was disappointed about this was because I think this is supposed to be Cult 101 stuff, but what was disappointing about the way they wrote this was like Natalie was getting interrupted every time she went in there. Like, it was like she didn't want her to see this type of thing, but this also just raises a lot of questions.
I figure when she finally gets in there, it'd be a big deal, but again, it's like, she just kind of comes out and she's like, they have all the dirt, and everybody's like, all right.
Well, if they already knew, then like, how come they can't go into...
But it's also like, what the fuck is the big secret? That she has their personal information? Okay. Yeah. And...
But I remember episode 2...
I have to give out my fucking personal information every time I go to a fucking store.
Yeah. Also, too, like, the big thing in episode 2 was no one's allowed to go in there, so why can't they go in there if everybody knows that, like, Lottie has their personal information. And I was just really disappointed about this, just because, like, again, the way they wrote this, it was supposed to be, like, a big deal. Natalie could never get in there. And this also just raises a lot of questions to me, like, I guess it explains why Lottie gave up the keys without a fight, but then, like, why did they, like... Did Lottie plan that, like, Natalie was going to go on this trip and, like, that... Kristen/Forker or whatever her name is was gonna go rogue and go visit? Like, was that part of Lottie's plan? I don't think it was, because they're being very vague on that and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. Dude, remember in Netflix Death Note where like Light planned out all that bullshit at the end, like, you know, with like with Misa on the Ferris wheel. And I'm like okay, that is or like Nier when he found out about Mikami, like you just fucking read the script.
Right.
Like that if Lottie knew that happened, she fucking read the script.
I feel like I keep mentioning Breaking Bad, but what made Walt and Gus's rivalry so good was
that is the perfect example of like the characters are smart, but like they're not just like reading the script.
Yeah. I was gonna say too, like
Walt, Gus, Light and L, like that was such a good, because again, it's a fine line between making the character super smart, and like just bullshit. But like those two examples are so fucking good at just like I buy this.
I think what make a better example would be like Light versus L when Light gives himself amnesia. Like Light had to like make sure to plan everything around himself and like everything pretty much.
Yeah, again, like he didn't plan on every single detail. He kind of just like got the broad strokes of it.
Or like with Gus, like Gus didn't plan out every detail.
Yeah, but like you said, with like the ricin thing, like at the time when he like walks away from his car when it has a bomb on it, it's like, what the fuck? Does he have psychic powers? But then when you like go back and it's like, oh wait, because he didn't poison Brock, and it sounds in this whole situation from his point of view, it seems like a setup.
Yep.
So he kind of like when he has all that information, it makes sense to you to be cautious and be like, you know what, I'm not going to get in that car. This seems like something that like is going on here.
Yeah, I don't think he thought a bomb necessarily, but something was going on, type of thing.
Right. So again, it's like when you think about what all the, or when we were talking about Jesse earlier with the ricin, that's a perfect example of like, okay, I see why he came to this conclusion and did this thing based on the information he had.
Yep.
I mean, again, we're talking on maybes. Like, does Lottie know that Natalie went rogue for a little bit with Fork Girl? I don't know.
Right.
I'm being vague on it. But like, if she did, then that's horseshit.
Yeah, I feel like they're trying to make Lottie. I think that's my biggest issue. They're trying to make it seem like Lottie's like one step ahead of Natalie every which way, but they're not doing it well. Is the big thing. Like.
Yeah. Okay, that's why I'm like, is she one step ahead, or does she not know shit? I have no fucking clue.
I know, yeah, it's really tough. I feel like that's the biggest thing that's wrong with Lottie too. Though in that area where they don't want to, they want to make a kind of like a shades of gray, or like.
Well, I'm just like, I don't know what to make of her at all. Like, I don't know heads or tails. Like, what the fuck Lottie is.
She probably should have just died in the past. Honestly, like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, you can kind of have a character, like you said, like a morally gray, like we don't know her intentions. But like, it doesn't. It's that fine line between like, oh, she's a mystery. We don't know like what her intentions are, and just like she is whatever the writers want her to be.
And again, like, why did Natalie give up on this like for 2 episodes type of thing? Like,
yeah, and it feels it's underwhelming because everybody is like, Natalie, why are you acting crazy? Like, we already knew she had that info.
Yeah.
And then Lottie's like, hey, everybody, can you, like, leave us alone? And then Natalie, like, fucking falls to the ground. She's, like, so upset. I guess Lottie points out, like, you're not thinking clearly because you're, like, so hung up on what Travis said about you being right. But again, I don't know. Natalie's just such a, like, headstrong person. Like, I don't know. It feels like weird that Natalie kind of just like crumbled.
Yeah.
Like so quickly.
Yeah. It was just odd.
Yeah. Because like I don't know. When they're trying to find the blackmailer in season 1, where like Taisa and Shauna were like giving her shit, and she like cried and got upset and stormed off. But like she was like, hey, listen, you guys are just as fucked up as me. You're just better at hiding it. I feel like that was more in line with Natalie, where she kind of like claps back and then kind of like gets upset.
Yeah, I like
Here,
that
she
better.
just kind of like fell to the ground, like defeated. She was like, "All right, well, I guess I fucked up."
I guess so.
It just feels weird. It feels out of character for Natalie to kind of just like give up like that.
I agree. It was really weird. This whole thing was really weird.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's also like I feel like that's my issue with this episode is like it kind of takes up stuff that was like built up a lot. And then kind of just, like, doesn't do anything with it.
Oh, nothing
like,
at
again,
all.
We had a whole episode and a half of Natalie trying to get into this fucking office. And then she finally does, and it's like nothing really comes. Like, oh.
Not one thing, yeah. And then you're wondering, like, why can't all the other people just go in here? If, like, why are they banned? Like.
Yeah. And then, Lottie's like, hey, Natalie, I know you just tried to, like, destroy my entire cult, but, like, hey, let's, do a thing. Okay, to be fair, I actually really like what Lottie said here. I was kind of giving her shit, but like, where she's like, listen, what Travis said, it has been eating at me. I want to figure out what he meant.
Yeah.
So, I can buy that Lottie's like working with Natalie here.
I think just a lot of bullshit.
I'm kind of like, I don't know. I feel like Natalie still wouldn't work with Lottie on this.
Yeah. I feel like I feel like I liked that, but there was just so much bullshit going on, like, right before that I think we were just pissed off type of thing, so...
Yeah, exactly. What Lottie said was fine. Again, I'm just kind of, like, on Natalie. I'm like, she's, like, flip-flopping a lot.
It feels like Natalie, like, from season 1, wouldn't give up this quickly. Like, she was pretty dead set, like, not giving up about Travis and all that type of stuff. So why did she, like, gave up completely here. Like, really randomly.
Yeah, and again, it's kind of just like, she spent the last, like, 5 episodes trying to burn Lottie down. And then she's like, well, that didn't work. Okay, Lottie, do your weird hypnosis thing.
Yeah. That was weird.
It's like, okay. Well, again, I mean, I'm still kind of stuck on episode 2, where she was going to leave, and then she just, like, stayed for some reason.
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
But this is kind of just continuing the problems of previous episodes, where I'm like, I don't know why Natalie's doing any of the things she's doing.
Oh, especially, like, when they did the thing, like, in episode 1 even, when, like, they did, like, the thing where Lottie said, like, I have a message from Travis, and then, like, a whole day went by before, like, she even heard about the message.
And then Natalie was like, oh, are you going to tell me? No, we're going to wait fucking several hours.
Yep.
Yeah. So Natalie and Lottie do the hypnosis thing. This was actually a cool scene. I like this.
Yeah, I
And
did too.
this was actually a little bit because in episode 2, when Natalie was like on that bed and she had that like flash of a vision, it was like it was like in an ambulance.
Yeah.
So we get more context for that. So we get like Natalie's flashes. It's like of the plane crash, but like it's like a what if version of the plane crash where they all died and we see like all their charred, burned bodies.
Yeah, I like that.
And then we see like a shadowy figure with like the antler ears, which is like the we saw that was like the flash forward in episode 1, and that's like on the promo picture on Paramount Plus.
Yep.
So this seems to be like the I guess like the show's symbol.
Yeah, I like that. Because they made something out of that. Because that's like they call that like the Antler Queen, and that's like what the fans gave it. So I kind of like that the fans made that into something, and that became a thing.
Yeah. Okay, so it is Queen. I am curious because this like weird thing, that's out in the woods with them. I keep calling it like the tree god. They've been like vague on what it is, but this episode, Javi called it she.
Yep.
So this is like the first time it's been like given a gender.
Right. The fans have like given it a name of their own and everything like that, but the show itself hasn't. But like, if the writers get
I was
asked,
pointing it out that like it's been like very ambiguous, but now they're kind of like giving it like more of an identity.
I like that. Yeah.
So it's interesting. And we get more flashes of like, okay, the last time she saw Travis. I guess we kind of found out a bit about them, before where they were constantly like really talking for each other and they were using drugs.
Yeah.
They would like break up, get back together, break up, back together. So this is one of the times where they were separated, and like it seems like Travis was doing pretty good. He had a new girlfriend, he had a good job, but he met up with Natalie like at a beach somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
They were kind of vague on this, if like they just kind of ran into each other or like they like met up on purpose.
Yeah, I don't know if I kind of wish they would have made it a little bit more clear, but I guess we didn't need it for this information. But I like to think maybe like Travis was just checking in on her, maybe type of thing.
Yeah, and it kind of snowballed.
Yeah.
Because we see them like they're in this hotel room and they're just like snorting good old cocaine, Coca-Cola. And we also get flashes of like kind of a bit because like the vision starts off kind of nice and happy, like we see that flash from season 1 where Natalie's like in bed with Travis. He's like shirtless and she's like on his her hand on his chest.
Yep.
So that seems like a nice happy memory, but then it kind of devolves and we see like no, they were like in a hotel fucking doing drugs together.
Mm-hmm.
So this like happy memory was actually like a pretty shitty one.
And I will say this convinced me even more that like the young actor is just doing voiceover over the old actor, like whatever he's gonna like voice and everything like that. Cause
I think that's pretty clear. Because we were like debating on that before. It's like either they got somebody who sounds fucking exactly like young Travis, or they just had young Travis voice over him.
Yeah.
And apparently his voice didn't change in fucking 30 years.
Unless this is just a memory and that's how she remembers his voice, I guess.
No.
I don't know why you think of a 17-year-old kid's voice when you're when
you're naked in bed with your boyfriend. It's a little weird, but okay.
Yeah, it's you do you.
And again,
Natalie.
Travis, when he was having sex with Natalie for the first time, he was picturing Lottie. So I guess both of them are just really weird with each other.
And just each other, nobody else.
Each other specifically. Then again, poor Travis, when he had sex with Jackie, fucking everybody tried murdering him. So again, I feel like that's just the trend in the show is whenever Travis has sex, fucking shit hits the fan.
Yeah, I guess Travis should have stayed a virgin. I guess.
I know, right? I made that joke before. I'm like, listen, if I were Travis and that happened the first 2 times I ever had sex, I would fucking be celibate for the rest of my life.
I guess he didn't take that advice.
He did not, and look where it got him, fucking dead. There you go.
Yep.
But yeah, Natalie ended up overdosing or whatever on coke in a hotel room, And Travis like was called 911, and then that's the ambulance flash from episode 2, where Natalie was like in an ambulance. They were like, she was overdosing. They were saving her life. But when Natalie kind of woke up in the hospital room, she told Travis that like whatever it was that was out there with them, it came back with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then Natalie kind of comes back like to Lottie, present day, and then she kind of collapses on Lottie's lap. And this is cool where we get a shot of like young Natalie.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Reminds me of in season 1 where Shauna killed Adam, and it was like a shot of young Shauna.
Yeah, I wonder how they did that, if they actually flew those actors in, because they don't film the adult scenes and the young scenes in the same places. So I don't know if they just like have the young versions of them, like just film a scene like in a different area, because it'd be kind of weird just to fly them in just for that one scene type of thing. So
yeah, like not even one scene, the fucking like one shot.
Yeah, so I feel like they had to have like improvised though and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Natalie says basically like the thing Travis was right. He's because his last words were like Natalie was right. The thing that I was right about was that what I said the last time we saw each other and I came out of my fucking overdose, that this like spirit thing, the antler queen, whatever the fuck it is. It like even Natalie's like not really sure. She's like, that darkness that was out there, or that's in us. It followed us back.
And that does make a lot of sense, because they seem to know, it could be all PTSD and stuff, but anytime anytime the other people try to do anything with their lives, or like anytime they get into a good place, they'll always get brought back to like that darkness. So that does make a lot of sense. Like why Natalie and Travis end up being the way they are. Why Misty's still psycho-ish. Why Taissa still sleepwalks, and why Shauna can't get over like the stuff with Jackie and everything like that. So that does make a lot of sense.
I'm kind of just like, I feel like that wasn't really a revelation, Like I was expecting a big plot twist with this, like, oh shit, what was Natalie right about? It's like, oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't say it was a revelation. I'm just saying it makes a lot of sense type of thing.
Makes sense, but I'm just kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
Kind of thought it'd be a bigger thing.
Same.
Well, and then like Lottie kind of looks over in the corner and she sees like the antler queen shadow.
Yeah, because of
well, one, I'm like, okay, so if this is supernatural, why did this thing wait 30 years for all that shit to happen? Because as we found out, Taissa sleepwalking was not a thing for a long time. Like she has not sleepwalked in years.
Yep.
And it's just happening now. Lottie, as we found out from her therapy session, has not had visions in decades.
Yep.
It's just happening now. And then obviously Travis like dying and all that shit, that like just happened recently. So these 3 very, very important things that can all possibly be supernatural are all happening now. So if this supernatural thing came back with them from the woods, it decided, I guess I'll wait 30 years and then be a dick.
Maybe that's the Ulan thing, they want to bring people, they wanted Travis with them and everything like that,
I mean, I don't know why they waited 30 years, but sure.
I mean, Ulan, how he waited a couple of days,
Yeah, a couple days, a couple years, same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
but I think it's 25. I think it was 25 years. AJ, get your facts straight. It's not 30. So
yeah, you're right. 20. Oh, fucking so much more than 30. Yeah. But yeah, again, I'm just kind of like I'm up in the air on how I feel about this. They could do something with it, but again, I was like, I was just kind of expecting more of a big twist of what Natalie was right about. But it's kind of just like, I mean, I could kind of already assume that, based on everything that's happened.
What is cool about this, is because in the past and stuff, like Natalie hasn't really believed in any of this stuff, so it's kind of cool now.
Yeah, but apparently, like in her like drug-induced state, she like said something about the supernatural stuff.
Yeah, so
And it seems like now she's like believing in the supernatural stuff.
Yeah, so I like that.
Yeah.
I like how the stuff with like Natalie and Lottie ended. I just didn't really like how we got there. So it's probably going to be a thumbs down overall, the Natalie and Lottie stuff, but like how it ends is good. But I don't. It's all about the build up. So.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I was telling you off camera. I like how it ended, and I do like the scene.
Oh yeah,
I do like the scene. But again, it's kind of just like based on all the build up about like, oh, what did Travis mean about Natalie being right? I know it's like. I don't hate the answer. I'm just like, I don't know how to feel about it. I guess I have to see what they do with it.
Yeah.
Because right now, I'm like, I don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah, we have to wait and see what happens.
So, and that's kind of just like, this has been built up for like the last season and a half. So I'm kind of just like, for that payoff, I'm like, nah, I feel like it should have been a more satisfying scene than it was.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But with Misty, after she talked to Natalie, Elijah Wood is like, hey, okay, I guess that's that. All right, I guess that's it. Yeah, sure.
Even he seemed a little underwhelmed, by the way. Like, he wasn't even that thrilled about it type of thing. He's like, oh, that's it. Like,
yeah, he was kind of like, oh, okay, I guess. Yeah, it's literally, I'm like, I don't even know what to make of it. He's just kind of like, okay, that's it.
I mean, you got to understand in his perspective, he just, like, he was in Red versus Blue and was doing stuff with the director, and he's over here like, oh, that was easy type of thing. That was good.
Yeah, he's like, listen, I fucking walked all the way to Mount Mordor and fucking Lord of the Rings, but I guess, compared to that, this was pretty easy.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Nice paid job for him.
And well, it's a big famous meme in Lord of the Rings is like, one does not simply walk into Mordor. Kind of reminds me of this, where it's like, one does not simply walk into the fucking purple people camp.
I guess not.
So, well, yeah. Well, I know. I guess so. It was super easy, barely inconvenient. They were just fucking driving around. They're like, oh, hey.
Yeah.
But yeah, Misty doesn't want to give up because she's like, okay, but, it's like Cult 101 is like, they convince you like that you want to stay. And basically, Elijah Wood is just kind of like, he brings up Adam.
Yep.
Felt a little out of nowhere. I mean, they kind of segued into it, but it felt a little out of nowhere.
Oh, definitely, yeah. It felt like he pulled that out of his ass, yeah.
But he's like, I mean, it makes sense that he had this information in his back pocket, but he kind of just brought it up at a weird time.
Yeah, and they've been like talking for like 2 days, like in the car.
Yeah, because Misty's just like, I gotta protect my friend Natalie, and she's like, oh, and Elijah Wood is like, oh, is that why you killed Adam? It's like, all right, dude, a little weird that you're bringing this up now, but sure.
Especially because Natalie has no connection to that at all, type of thing. I mean, yeah, I know he doesn't. Like, I know he.
It's like one of those moments where you're like, you want to say something, but like you're kind of looking for a segue, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna say it now. Like, I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah. But he's like, I mean, it makes sense how he did this. So he dug into Adam because he kind of just didn't take what Misty said about her, like the mom at face value.
Yeah.
Turns out Adam's mom was dead for years.
That that was fine, I guess.
Yeah, fine. He's like, so I pieced together that you killed him, which I like this. So like he's assuming Misty killed him.
Yeah, because he doesn't really know anything about Shauna or anything like that, so that makes sense.
But he did say, oh, you probably killed them to protect your friends, which isn't untrue.
Yeah.
Like she ended up helping cover up the murder for her friends. Yeah.
So yeah, I like that he doesn't like. Honestly, it's weird. He's the one. I like that he doesn't fully piece together like exactly what happened.
That's what I mean. This feels like a good example of like, okay, he's smart. He's a smart character, but he's not like breaking the plot smart.
Yeah.
Like he's assuming Natalie's involved. He's assuming Misty killed him because of something involving the YellowJackets. And it's like, yeah, you're like 80% right.
Yeah, I like that.
But then Misty gets defensive, and he's like, all right, no, we're done. And Elijah Wood's like, what? What do you mean done? He's like, no, yeah, we're done. Whatever this is, we're done. He takes it surprisingly well. He just kind of drives off.
Well, a big thing, because he mentions, because this is a big thing I have, like, he dug into him, and, like, you're thinking, like, oh, he cares about this deeply. But then we find out, like, he mentions, like, his grandmother, like, got arrested.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I forgot. Yeah, so I kind of figured it was assumed, because he's not, like, going to the cost of this. But he's kind of chill with Misty murdering Adam.
Yeah. But I'm like...
But yeah, like you said, it seems like his grandmother murdered his grandfather and went to jail for 30 years, but like his grandmother, he still likes his grandmother.
Yeah.
Well, again, I'm kind of just like, we don't know if that story's bullshit or not. He could be lying.
But the thing I don't really like about it is like that if because he says like I have it like an
a lot. Sorry, what were you saying?
because he says like he has like an attraction to Misty still, and I don't care what type of person you are. I don't know if he was just saying that to like get her to reveal it type of thing, or like is he like genuine about that type of thing?
Well, because earlier in the episode they were bringing up like the truth and a lie, and then he ended up telling all the truth, and Misty was like, "You got to tell a lie." So I kind of thought maybe that was foreshadowing, like what he said about his grandmother is a lie.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm assuming. Again, I could be fucking talking out of my asshole here. But yeah, that's what I was assuming. But if not, then yeah, I guess he has a murderer grandmother. He's chill with murder, I guess. Okay.
I just don't understand why he did all that. If he's so chill with this, why did he do all that digging for like Adam Mountain and all that type of stuff? Like, why do you care then?
So again, I'm assuming there's more to this. Like, I'm assuming he's like bullshitting.
Yeah.
But he ends up driving off pretty easily because he's like, I think Missy's like, leave me here. And he's like, okay, but I drove you here. What are you going to do? She's like, I'll figure it out. And he drove off.
Did I go
I'm assuming we'll see him again. If he's just like gone, then like, what the fuck? He's definitely coming back.
I mean, he's got to film OVB, He's got some stuff to film there,
Yeah.
So.
All right, listen, I'm going to go film Lord of the Rings and Spy Kids 3, but like, I'll be back next episode. But then at the end of the episode, Misty just kind of walks back to the camp and he's like, hey, I'm your new member. I want to join.
I didn't really like this because, like, she was just there, like, trying to get Nally out of there.
He's like, hey, were you just here like 2 seconds ago?
Yeah.
And also, like, what? Lottie goes to meet you and it's like, oh, hi, Misty. It's like, okay, I feel like, again, that's one of those things that's going to work for, like, maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, this isn't really going to work out too well. I'm actually being genuine here. I legit don't remember what happens with this, like, with Misty going there and everything like that. This is...
Oh, mystery.
I, like, remember this scene happening, but, like, I don't remember, like, what happens with this type of thing. Like...
and Elijah Wood, so far, his character's been, like, really persistent.
Yeah.
So I feel it's kind of weird that he kind of just drove off. I mean, I'm assuming he, like, wasn't done with Misty. He was going to, like, drive off and then, like, come back for her or something. But I don't know. It just feels weird that he just drove off. Like, I feel like he wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, definitely. I am going to say this, because obviously we're doing this. I'm already thinking Elijah Wood in OVB is probably going to be better than Elijah Wood in YellowJackets. I'm making that prediction right now.
I mean, I love him in Red vs. Blue, so, I mean, like, so far, yeah. But again, I don't really know. He's a very mysterious character right now in YellowJackets.
Yeah.
So, they could reveal him. Again, I'm assuming there's more to him than what we know right now.
I also kind of wonder if he should have gotten involved in, like, Shauna's plot. Like, as you're going to talk, he should have been the cop that, like, was interrogated.
I would like that, yeah.
Because that would have been cooler.
But at the same time, I do like that they're bringing in Kevin.
He could still be with Kevin. It's just...
Yeah, true.
But then again, I guess maybe, like... But the reveal of him, of that guy being a cop, wouldn't work if Elijah Wood had been in that. Because everyone would know it's bullshit type of thing. Like, I think the reveal works better if it's just some random guy, I guess.
Yeah. Because obviously you're not going to bring in Elijah Wood to be a fucking random guy at a bar. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, that's too recognizable of, like, a name to put there type of thing. Because the guys, I remember when they filmed that scene, the guy's, like, in the background and everything like that. Like, you can't really hide Elijah Wood in the background.
Yeah.
Especially with, like, Callie and, like, her friend. Or, like, I mean, Callie's not really that well known. Like, he's going to stand out in a scene like that and everything like that.
Yeah, oh, of course. Callie's going to walk right up to him and be like, oh my god, you're Elijah Wood, the famous actor.
From Red vs. Blue. Nothing else.
From that specifically, nothing else. Which is funny because, again, he's a voice actor in that. I love the idea that Callie, one, watching Red vs. Blue, and two, recognizes his face by his voice.
That'd be awesome, yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, so Missy's plotline...
Two thumbs
really
down.
Fucking weird.
2 thumbs down.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like they're just kind of talking. They fucking randomly drive by the cult camp. They knock on the door and ask if they have kidnapped Natalie, and Natalie shows up, tells her to fuck off. And Elijah Wood is just randomly like, hey, so I know you murdered Adam. They get into a fight, they leave, and then Misty's like, hey, I want to join your cult. And it's like, wow, what the fuck? All of that was weird. I don't know why. I don't think there was a single decision during any of that that I was like that like made sense to me.
I feel like the showrunner probably should have been not fired that day, but should have been sent home that day. And they like, yeah, you're not.
Like not even an actor. It's like, all right, show, you're taking a day off. You're drunk.
No, I'm saying showrunner should have been sent home that day.
Oh, showrunner.
Yeah.
I thought you said the show. I'm like the show, the whole show.
That'd be awesome. No, I said the showrunner should have taken the day off that day and like really thought about his choice. Maybe they had to film. Maybe it was due that day, so he was just throwing shit at the wall and see what stuck, type of thing. It's like, yeah, this is due tonight.
Like a project, like you're doing it in class right before the teacher collects it. They're like struggling to fucking do it before she comes and takes it.
Yep, that's what's going on here. Like film, they had to get this film out there, type of thing. So
yeah, like, guys, the show releases in 5 minutes. Oh, I'm reading the script right now. Okay, go. Yeah. Then we get Thaisa and Van's plotline. Probably the best way, and Shauna's one might be the best one.
Well, I think Thaisa's probably is the best one, but you can think.
So I like that we cut a little bit before Thaisa walked in from last episode. So we're getting to see Van's kind of like daily morning. She lives in upstairs in the movie shop that she owns. We see she has a bunch of mail for like owed bills, and she's kind of like ignoring them. Yeah, but she's talking pretty friendly with some regulars. And like some people coming in, it's like, oh my god, this is like VHS tapes. What are these? Obviously the joke is that like VHS tapes are really old, and like a lot of people don't watch them anymore.
Do you still have any?
Oh, well, Liam has a whole collection of
That's
VHS
true.
tapes.
So
I think I have a couple from when I was a kid. But yeah, I was kind of like weirded out. I'm like, okay, come on, it's not that old, where like nobody fucking knows what they are.
right.
Like, I mean, I can buy the people like don't use them, but like, like I'm like, they're like, what is this magical machine?
I mean, I live with my
Oh,
grand.
it'd be like if you saw a radio. It's like, what is this fucking
Yeah.
strange machine that with particle waves coming out that plays music?
I mean, I really can't say. I live with my grandparents, so they have a lot of stuff that like I probably know a lot about old school like tape recorders and
Yeah,
all
so
that.
I'm like, again, I don't know if I'm showing my age by knowing what VHS tapes are, but I'm like, okay, I feel like they would. Then again, my nieces and nephews, when I showed them my DS, they were like, what's that?
Right. So
I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe people don't know what VHS tapes are.
yeah, I don't know.
Dude, I felt fucking so old when they didn't know what a DS was.
At first, when these kids came in, I thought they were just playing like this was like a prank or something like that, because it seemed like a prank, but it really wasn't a prank type of thing.
Yeah.
I do like this because it shows like the vibe that like Van's like known around the community and everything like that. So she's been
Yeah,
here a
well,
while.
and like a woman's in there, and presumably the woman's a lesbian because Van's like recommending her like well-known like movies with like gay women in it or something like that.
I wouldn't know. So that's cool.
Well, I mean, I was going on the conversation. They're like talking about like how hot like one of the women in the movie is.
Oh yeah, I just I didn't know if I don't know the film, so like I wouldn't know.
No, I'm just saying. Like,
Yeah.
that's some action. I don't know if you knew the movie they were talking about.
One cool thing
Yeah,
was
then we-
I watched someone review this. Like one of the movies that Van walked by was like about a plane crash, which was pretty cool. So
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I was assuming these are like real movies that she's talking about. But yeah, then we see from last episode, like Thaisa walks in, and we have that big dramatic stare down.
she collapses because the stare down's just too intense for her, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. She does collapse.
By the way, since
Yeah,
Van owns this movie store, do you think Lord of the Rings and all the stuff Elijah Wood's in is a thing? Because that would be kind of weird type of thing if Elijah Wood.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. In like a Captain America movie, he on a list, because he was frozen for 70 years. He had a list of movies he wanted to watch, and one of them was Star Wars. And it's funny because Samuel L. Jackson is in Star Wars.
That's right.
But he's also a character in Captain America.
That's right.
So it's like, how the fuck does that work?
Yeah.
That happens a few, like where they make jokes, or iCarly, where she's like watching episodes of Drake and Josh.
There's a movie I was watching called Happy Death Day where like they basically go through like the what's the name of the Bill Murray movie that he's in where he has to keep Groundhog Day. Where,
Oh yeah, Groundhog.
she's doing like that, but like And then, like, after she's done with it, someone mentions that plot, but she's, like, never seen Groundhog Day, so that's why she didn't pick up, like, that's what was going on when she was going through all that and everything like that type of thing. So.
Oh, okay, that's funny. Yeah, you're right. That is like, imagine she had fucking an Elijah Wood movie. Like, okay, that's strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my train of thought. I've been doing a lot this video. But yeah, they end up cutting to back in Van's apartment. Thaisa is like talking with Van, and I like that Thaisa bought the like naked lady pen from the truck driver, and they're talking a bit about like how at Shauna's wedding, they got that for Shauna as like a joke, and like apparently like Shauna's mom like nearly had a heart attack.
That's pretty funny, yeah.
Yeah. Although that gives us more information because I remember I was saying before that like Thaisa talked about the women she dated in college, and when they got back from the plane crash, they'll be about college age. So I was assuming that either they broke up like shortly before they got back or shortly after they got back.
So that answers your question.
I guess they. So they broke up after they got back, so they didn't break up when they were out in the woods.
I don't know though. They could have both still been at the wedding and stuff, and just like.
Well, they say that they like bought the pen together, so I'm assuming they like bought it as a couple.
That's true.
I don't know, the way they phrased it makes it seem like they were a couple. If they weren't, then it's kind of weird wording.
I mean, Natalie did say Travis doesn't believe in the supernatural stuff, and that was bullshit.
Yeah, and that was just a fucking lie.
Yeah. Maybe they got back together for like
all those drugs Natalie was taking. She wasn't taking clearly.
that could happen too.
Yeah. But yeah. So I feel like that they're just kind of like shooting the shit a bit, catching up, because presumably they haven't talked in years. Because Van's like, why are you just showing up all of a sudden?
Yeah.
But Thaisa ends up, telling her like about the sleepwalking and like about the dog and the elder. And I do like that Van is like, oh my god, did Sammy see? And Thaisa's like, oh no, thank God.
Yeah.
So I do like that Van is kind of like worried about Thaisa, but she's also like, you kind of just walked back into my life all of a sudden. That's pretty shitty of you.
Yeah, I like that. I like that Van's calling.
Yeah, because like Thaisa's like, all right, right now I really want to take a shower, and Van's like, okay, no, Thaisa, like, be serious. Like, what are we gonna do?
When that happened, I will admit I yelled at my TV. I'm like, Thaisa, like, what is it gonna take to get you to take this like seriously and stuff? Like, what is it gonna take? Because you didn't really take it seriously.
I know, right? I'm like, you just killed your wife, and you're like, oh, I want to shower. It's like, no, fucking talk about this.
Yeah.
When she's in the bathroom, she like just going through her medicine cabinet. I guess because she's nosy, and then she finds a bunch of like medicine, and she confronts Van on it because she's basically thinking Van is like taking like really powerful drugs, and Van is like, oh yeah, this is like mind your own fucking business medicine. You should take 2 tablets of it. That was a pretty good comeback.
Van was awesome there, yeah.
Yeah, but Van is like, okay, no, the V on this stands for Vicky, because I guess that was her mom's name. And it's like she had cancer for a couple of years and she died here, so I just had her medicine. And Tyson's like, oh, sorry, about you and your mom. I know you guys didn't get along. And, Van is like, hey, listen, the cancer scared the bitch right out of her. So I do like this where, again, Tyson is not in a position to be fucking giving Van shit.
Oh, no, not at all. Not even close.
And I do like that Van kind of clapped back at her, like, none of your fucking business.
Yeah. I do like
but
that.
As we find out at the end of the episode, Van was talking out of her ass. Like, these are her drugs, and she's like, I don't know how drug addict seems to be.
Yeah, that's what it seems like is going on there. I don't think I caught this originally because it was still in the midst of, like, all the crystal stuff happening and all, like, the bullshit of what was going on with Natalie and stuff. So I was like, oh, I didn't really notice that originally because I had other things I was pissed about at the time. So, yeah. I did like this though. I did, and I did like Van. I remember I told you off camera I thought adult Van was kind of disappointing. I shouldn't say disappointed, but I guess it's one of those things you're just so used to seeing Van young. You're like thinking to yourself like, probably the young actors would have delivered these lines like maybe a little better because it seems more like Van and all that type of stuff and things.
Yeah. I'm kind of neutral on her. I think she's fine. Yeah, I mean, I'm liking the story for her for once. It's funny. Usually, it's the actors that do a good job, and the story's been like disappointing. But this time, it's the reverse. Where the actress is like okay, but like I'm really liking the dialogue she's been given.
Yeah, there you go.
Because like Thais was like making small talk with her, and she's like, "All right, like you just come into my life like unannounced, all of a sudden after years, and it's like like all this bullshit. Like you can't even like ask me for help. Like you haven't even said like please help me, Van."
Yeah,
And I do like this where Thais like kind of breaks down, starts crying, and she's like, "How can I ask you for help? Like I can't. Like I killed my dog. I'm like traumatizing my son. I nearly killed my wife. Like, and I'm like ruining all the people I care about. Like, how can I possibly ask you for help?"
yeah, I like that. Yeah,
But then Van is kind of like, "Look, I'm gonna help you. Like, obviously, I'm not gonna like let you walk out of here without solving this. So, like, yeah."
this is a good tie-in because obviously Van was like in the past wanted to help like Thaisa and everything like that.
I also like that, Van said that about like I'm not, before Thaisa broke down, because she's like she made it clear like I'm gonna help you, but it wouldn't kill you to like to ask me for help.
Yeah, definitely. I like that.
So I feel like we kind of see why they broke up. That like Thaisa never really like fully opened up to Van. It seems like.
Yeah, I like that. We're getting like this is kind of a good thing where like the present is like giving us enough information that we haven't seen in the past yet and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. But they fell asleep on the couch. Van gets up, and she takes the drugs that she threw in the trash and like starts downing them. So obviously she just threw them away as an excuse to get Thais off her back.
Yep.
But then Thaisa like grabs her by the shoulder and like starts making out with her. And then Van kind of pieces together, like from the look in her eyes, like, "Oh, you're the other one." And then Thaisa, or like the lady who is sometimes in the tree, not even the lady who is occasionally, but usually not in the tree, is like,
Yeah.
"Come, we have somewhere to be or something." And again, if I were in this universe, I'd fucking grab somebody by the shoulders, fucking shake them, and be like, "Stop speaking in riddles."
Well, to be fair, you can't wake up someone when they're sleepwalking. That's pretty dangerous, actually. So.
Yeah, I know you can't specifically do that with Thaisa, but if I were Van, I'd be like, "Okay, speak like a normal fucking person. Where are we going?"
Again, Church would be he'd be trying to shoot Thaisa and failing right there, type of thing. This honestly,
Yeah, I'm fine. I get it builds mystery. And it's like a cliffhanger of like, oh, what's gonna happen next time? It's just they do it so much.
oh yeah, definitely.
They do this in every episode where like they speak super vague, and it's like, can you speak like a normal person sometimes?
I guess not. It kind of
Like,
reminds
if
you.
they did it last, I'd be fine, but they do it fucking constantly.
Yeah, it kind of reminds you of those scenes when Church is trying to get answers from Caboose, and Caboose is just like not giving him the. He's speaking in riddles, not even in riddles. I don't even know what Caboose is speaking in. He's just speaking in.
Yeah, it's being Caboose, and Church is like, "God damn, you know what? Fuck it, I give up."
He's going to live in a cave for a month
Yeah.
because he's being tortured.
I was actually referencing season 9. Remember when he's trying to get Caboose to tell him what the guy said on the radio?
Yeah.
And the Church was like, "You know what? Fuck it, I give up."
Honestly, I feel like Church would get to that point in like YellowJackets. He'd be like, "Yeah, fuck this, I give up." Like,
You know what? I'm just gonna go back to the woods. Fuck it, I don't want to deal with you guys. But yeah, that's it for Thaisa's plot. It was fine. Again, I
Give it
really
nice-
Van and like seeing like the obvious like I don't know. I guess they seem to be on somewhat good terms. Like,
Yeah.
they don't like hate each other.
give it like a nice solid. I don't know why Fan was never mentioned like before now type of thing. Like not like at.
But I guess
doing
they
that,
haven't
but-
spoken in years, and it's like it's her ex-girlfriend. So I get
Yeah.
why Thaisa never really talks about her. But
But not the other.
I don't know. I'm a little again. It's kind of one of those things of like, oh shit, Van and Thaisa. Like, what happened to them? Are they gonna hate each other? Like, what happened in the past? They're not together
Yeah.
anymore. It's like, oh, they seem fairly friendly. So I guess whatever happened wasn't that big a deal.
Yeah, but also Van being alive too just kind of also lessens the significance of like the plane crash because that's like
kind of what I mean. Again, it's like okay, Van's alive, but it's like, oh shit, is there gonna be some tension between them? And it's like, no, not really.
yeah they're just whatever,
They just are kind of talking like two exes who haven't seen each other in years.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Good for
And
them.
kind of like I was saying earlier with like Misty and Lottie, where it's like, oh, they kind of built up that there was something there, and they kind of really didn't do anything with
A lot of nothing. Yeah.
That's kind of, I think that's why this episode's kind of like, the episode itself is like fine, but it's kind of sprinkling in a lot of like, nothing really came from that thing they were hinting at. That sucks.
Yeah.
But and then we get the last plot line, Donna and Callie and the police. So Callie, as we see, has been continuing to date the undercover cop. They were out bowling, and the cop is really destroying her. Like it's pretty bad. He was creaming her just like fucking Randy was creaming in that condom.
Actually, and when you mention what you mean by that means two things actually. So.
Yeah, I know. That was the joke, Owen. Thank you for pointing out joke police. Much like this guy is the actual police.
Yeah, he's in the police.
And he's in the police because he doesn't want to make out with a minor. Because she's like, hey, we've been hanging out for a while. If I get the strike, you're gonna make out with me. And he's like, obviously doesn't want to do it. But then he kind of looks at the screen and how she's been like really ass at this. And he's like, you know what? I got nothing to lose here. Sure. And then she immediately gets a strike, and he's like, fuck.
Yeah. I did like that they did that once type of thing. So.
Yeah. But then he kind of has to like talk his way out of it. And he's like, okay, so, you know, we said we take this slow. So I'm sorry. I'd like you. I do. I just don't want to like mess up my relationship with you. Blah blah blah. And you know, he's a pretty good. He's a smooth talker. He ends up talking her like out of the kiss.
Not just out of the kiss, but like back to the relationship too. So it's like, you know.
Yeah, I was just thinking because, you know, obviously, like, you know, if he just says like I don't want to kiss you, like he's gonna like push her away, and they're like he can't like meet with her anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. He like talks her out of the kiss, but like continues like their relationship. Yeah.
I do have a question. Is this extortion? Because he's undercover, but not like, you know, he's not undercover, but like he's doing it on he's going rogue here. So would this be is this extortion?
Well, extortion is like if he's like blackmailing her. You know, if he was like,
okay.
Like forcing her. Extortion is like you will do this or I will do this. Well, I mean, if you're undercover cop, you're allowed to like commit crimes to a certain extent. You know, if it like benefits like the overall case.
I'm asking, is this extortion though? Because he's not like he's going rogue and like going undercover himself.
Yeah, sanctioned, I think is what.
Oh, okay.
So like, yeah, this is obviously. Well, I don't know. Obviously, Kevin knows he's doing this. Kevin like disagrees with him, but Kevin seems to know that he's like meeting.
Oh yeah, so he's in trouble too. Yeah.
So yeah, either they're both like off the books, or this is like sanctioned. Like this is okay.
Because also he's taking time away where he could be like solving other crimes. Like it's not just like, you know, him doing this is like, you know, unless he's probably doing this not on his shift, but like he's also
it's probably like off. Yeah, I'm kind of unsure about this.
Because this seems like because obviously like. I mean, this is a really weird comparison, but this is like in Wizards of Waverly Place where they pretended to all get, like, kidnapped and stuff to get them to, like, reveal, like, you know, that they were wizards, but then we found out that, like, that was all bullshit type of thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was fucking... Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You can't... Okay, so there is a limit. So it's funny, because actually I know undercover. You can't, like, coerce somebody into committing a crime. So if you like go up to like that they wouldn't normally commit. Like if you're undercover, you can't go up to somebody and be like, "Hey, dude, you should like rob this bank."
Yeah.
You know, like you can't convince them to like commit a crime. But yeah, you know, you can like pretend to like, you know, be like somebody you're not, and like, you know, like kind of go along with crimes they're already committing.
I assume that. I'm just saying he's not doing this on the books. He's doing this going rogue. So I assume this is like somewhat illegal.
This is also a weird area because, as you know, like Callie isn't a criminal. Like they're doing this to see if she knows anything about criminal activities. So I'm like, okay, this is like that weird gray area.
Yeah, this is weird. So.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair to him, he he would absolutely be committing a crime if he was like making out with a 17.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I'm just asking in
So
terms of
again, this makes me lean more into like this is legal.
yeah.
It's in that gray area, but like so far he's fine.
Okay. I'm just asking, like, because he's doing this off the books and all that type of stuff. I could see cops being like, why the hell were you doing this? And all that type of stuff.
It's Ryan seems to know about it, or Kevin. Fuck, I don't know why I keep fucking calling him Ryan. Kevin seems to be, like, to know he's doing it, so, like, I think it's sanctioned.
There you go.
Yeah, we spent more time on it than I thought. That's why my criminal justice degree is fucking coming out.
Yep. That's why I asked you this question, actually, so...
Yeah. But yeah, so far it's kind of like a gray area, but I think it's fine. But then he goes to like take a shit. He's going to that cliff where Crystal died. And he's like,
yep.
Squeeze one out for Crystal, or Christine.
And where Griff fell off the thing.
Upper tower relocated. Yeah, and Will of the Wall. Griff falls off a lot of shit.
Yep.
He falls off that cliff in season 8 too.
That's right. Well, sort of.
Well, yeah, he got dragged off.
Imagine that happened to Crystal, by the way. Can you imagine that happened to Crystal where she hung on to something at the end? That would have been awesome. Like,
yeah, I know. She's over the cliff. It's like, fuck, what does Misty do now? Does she, like, start throwing rocks at her? She starts throwing more shit at Crystal and she falls.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Yeah. Imagine they're in the middle, Misty and Crystal are in the middle of that conversation. Misty's like, I'll fucking kill you. And all of a sudden the meta just, like, glides by and grabs Crystal off.
Meta, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I would love that. Hey, it was snowing in both areas, too.
It was.
Yeah.
I feel like probably for you, we've talked a lot about RVB in this video, more than you thought we were gonna.
Probably. Well, it's probably because we watched season 9, but I haven't reviewed it yet. But yeah, Adam goes to take a shit. Or not Adam. Fucking, I'm missing Adam. I'm missing him always around the corner whenever there's a bad moment. Funny, because this is a really bad moment.
This could be Adam. This could be Adam possessing this guy. Maybe
that's why this guy is so invested in Adam. He's like, Adam, my long lost brother. I will avenge you.
Yes.
But yeah, this guy, Adam Jr., like goes to take a shit, and the worker just kind of like leaves their check there, and Callie gets curious, so she like looks at the receipt and notices that like the name on the credit card or that like from the receipt is a different guy.
Mm-hmm.
So she Googles him and finds out like, oh, he's like a cop.
Yep.
And Owen, you might think this is bullshit because he's an undercover cop, but this is the real thing. So undercover cops like, well, one obviously they have like personal info out there. Undercover cops have talked to me about how, like, if you're arrested, you can ask for the name of the cop who arrested you. And, their information isn't hidden. Like, police departments are not required to hide information on undercover cops.
Okay.
Which is fucked up. Like, undercover cops have told me, like, yeah, that's super dangerous. Like, that's a rule we hope can change one day. Because, like, yeah, if a criminal gets arrested and asks who arrested him, he could be really fucking pissed and be like, oh, when I get out of here, I'm going to fucking find that guy. Google him and be like, oh, okay, cool, I found out. I'm going to go fucking murder him and his whole family.
Well, I wasn't bothered by this anyways because, like, the waitress came over, probably not realizing he was an undercover cop type of thing.
No, I'm saying this is already, like, fine. This is understandable.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, going off of real-life laws, it's even more like, wow. Like, this is an example of, like, wow, real-life laws are fucking stupid.
You could say it's kind of a coincidence, though, that, like, right when Callie finds out about the murder stuff, this happens to happen, though. That's kind of a bit of a coincidence.
She was very suspicious of him, so her being like, hey, I'm going to look at his receipt and be like, oh, shit, he's not who he really is.
That's true. Because he just... I can actually kind of see that, because, she started meeting up with this guy, like, around the time her mom was being questioned and everything like that too, so it's kind of weird he started showing up and she knows nothing about him and all that type of stuff. So
yeah, that's the thing. I feel like she just like looked at the receipt to be like yeah, she's just like suspicious of him. Yeah. But yeah, they end up going back in the car and Callie tries to feed him like wrong information to like steer him in another direction. For a teenager, Callie did a really good job of kind of like staying cool.
Yeah.
And and yeah, she basically says like, I found out who my mom was cheating with. My dad's best friend Randy.
Yeah, she actually gave like a good story and everything like that.
Yeah. And Kelly goes home and is like, this guy I've been meeting, and I mentioned to him that like my mom was having an affair. He's an under, and they like get really upset. I kind of like how Jeff is like being a good dad. He's like, "Whoa, how old is this guy?" And she's like, he's more worried about Callie.
Yeah, I
But
like that.
Shauna's like a really shitty mom, where she's just like she's more upset at Callie, and when Callie at the very end of the conversation is like, "So hey, mom, did I do a good job?" Like kind of like steering him in the right direction. She's like, "Yeah, you did fine."
I really didn't like that
Like,
Callie's.
like Shauna can't even like kind of reassure her daughter,
Yeah.
and like when she's like begging for a compliment, she's like, "Huh? Yeah, sure, you did. Whatever."
I don't really like that Callie's kind of helping too, like with this, like now she's in it now type of thing. Because before she was like haunted about it. So.
Well, again, I feel like I'm liking Jeff here, where again he's like being a good dad. He does not want Callie involved in this any more than she has to be.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, again, I feel like that's the point of the scene, is highlighting that Shauna's a really bad mom.
Yeah.
That she is like dragging her daughter down with her.
Yeah.
And like she can't even like give her a compliment.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And that little compliment meant a lot to like Callie too, because she got really excited when she like left the room and everything like that.
Yeah. That seems to be a thing. Is like they were super distant in season 1, and at first, it's because because I think you kind of mentioned it's kind of giving the idea, oh, Callie was a shitty brat, but I think the idea is that like Callie started getting super like distant from her family because of Shauna.
Yeah.
Because now that like they're getting closer, Callie is like desperate to like keep them close and like get her mom's approval.
It is kind of interesting because we both like Jeff. A lot of the YellowJackets fan base don't like Jeff. I don't understand the YellowJackets.
I feel like Jeff is just like a normal guy wrapped up in all this bullshit.
Yeah. I don't know what. I don't understand the YellowJackets fan base sometimes. Like they don't like Jeff. They don't like Travis sometimes, but I don't understand them. I just don't get them.
Should like him because I think I told you like season 1 I did not give a shit about Shauna. I didn't like Shauna. Season 2, Shauna's a horrible person, but like it makes sense and I like it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Now I'm like, because again, obviously not every character should be likable.
Not at all.
Shauna, I feel like before Shauna was likable, but like not in an interesting way. Now Shauna's like unlikable, but like I understand it, and it's in a way that's interesting for the story.
Yeah, I agree.
So now that's one, because I think I said off camera, season 2, the last couple episodes have been dropping the ball a bit. But like Shauna, for some reason, has been like shining through, and it's so strange because it was the opposite, where I really liked season 1, but like Shauna was a stain on it.
I think that has to do with just like you said, a lot of the stuff they set up with the big characters that we like has fallen flat and everything like that. So
yeah, and now they're actually like doing more Shauna besides like, oh, she's having an affair, and that's kind of it. That's her story.
Yeah, this is like wrapping up the Adam stuff and everything like that. So
yeah, and I feel like this is just like inherently more interesting. That's like, oh shit, they're covering it for murder, rather than like, oh, she's sleeping with a guy. Okay.
And consider the fact that you studied this stuff, it's probably more interesting to you too.
Yeah, it's like I think it's inherently like more up my alley.
Yeah.
But yeah, they end up coming up with a plan of like, okay, you know what? We can work with this. And it's kind of like the cops are already suspicious of us, so you kind of spilling the beans that Sean was cheating. We can steer this in the right direction. Now that they think it's Randy, we can like get them off our backs.
Yeah.
So they're following you. They're probably following me. If you, I'll like go have sex with Randy, and like the cops will be following us, and they'll like think, oh yeah, she's cheating with Randy, and that's it.
I do like that.
And I like how Jeff is like upset. I'm like, like when Callie says like she used Randy as a scapegoat, Jeff is like my best friend.
Yeah.
And when Shauna's like, hey, listen, we can like work with this, and Jeff is like he's like kind of like pacing around. He's like, oh God.
Okay.
I think kind of like when he confronted Kevin at the gym. This probably feels even more emasculating for him.
Yeah. Also, too, because he's just like, what did I get myself into? Because obviously he started all of this originally, too. So.
Yeah, I know, right? He's also like, you know what? I can't even be that mad because this is all started from me.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sean ends up going to like Randy's hotel room, This is interesting. Okay, so I think this is a different room because remember Randy was like staying there like all the time back in season 1.
Yeah.
But then he mentions here that like him and Tammy are like back on good terms.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Yeah.
obviously like Randy like left the room with Shauna. So I guess like Randy isn't staying here anymore.
Yeah, I thought that I liked that touch.
Well, it's also I think this is important because the cops end up going into this room after.
Yeah.
So if Randy was like staying there like full time, like they wouldn't be able to do that.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah.
So I guess it's kind of the cops lucked out that Randy and his wife made up.
Yeah. Good on them. Yeah.
Yeah. But I do like it's kind of like Randy has his own life going on. Like his life isn't revolving around Donna.
I like that. I do think they do that really well with the secondary characters. Like the plane crash doesn't take over like their lives. Like Kevin's doing other shit. Like he has a kid. He got like that brief time that him and Natalie broke up before the like the reunion. He got like back together with another girl. So I like that. That like
yeah. This world feels like lived in. You know, it feels like okay, the plot does not revolve around the main character. Well, I mean, the plot does, but I mean, like the world does.
Yeah.
You know, if the main characters died, like the rest of the world will keep fucking going on.
That might be the one thing
some
that
shows have a problem with that, where it feels like if the main character dropped dead, like everything would just be like, oh shit, okay, we're gonna stop. No one does anything anymore.
I mean, that might be the one thing that like YellowJackets has going good for it over RVB at the moment is that like because I feel like honestly sometimes it feels like if RVB I feel like if Church died like forever, the world would stop.
Yeah, that is a good point. I feel like sometimes Red vs. Blue, like Church is like too much of the main character. Yeah.
I mean, season 9 is kind of an example of that, actually.
Yeah, we'll get to that in the video, but yeah, that is I do agree that YellowJackets does a good job with like it's like not one-off characters, but like it's like smaller characters.
Like that.
I don't even want to say secondary cast because I feel like Ben would be a secondary character.
Yeah.
Whereas like Kevin and Randy are like really minor characters.
I mean, even Ben though, like as we've seen, like his boyfriend that he broke up with, like he just continued living.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like Ben's fucking boyfriend has like a whole fucking life and backstory.
Yeah.
Ben's boyfriend, who doesn't even have a name, he probably has a name, in fucking like 2 minutes, is better than Mari.
Yep. Also, that banker that Natalie met up with, like they talked about her backstory.
Yeah,
like
she had a whole fucking life. We found out she like did drugs with Natalie in the past, and they would sell her clients' info. But now she's going to AA meetings and she's doing better. And it's like, holy shit, she had a whole fucking character in like 5 minutes.
I mean, Elijah Wood. I know he's kind of secondary right now.
He's an enigma. I don't know what to make of him.
Okay. He's a thin though.
Yeah, he's fine.
I mean, some of the patients that like Misty sees have like the lone lives that we hear about sometimes. I don't remember it, but they have them.
Yeah. I want to bring this up because Randy and Sean are like in the hotel room, and I like how Randy's like confused. He's like, okay, so what's going on? Jeff wants me and you to like hang out for a little while. So like they didn't even tell him like this is involved with the blackmailing stuff.
Yeah, and I like how he thinks.
Again, I'm telling him about the murder, but like they didn't even tell him it was about the blackmailing.
Yeah, and I do like because I mentioned this before that like, he thinks like this is related to the fact that he got questioned by Elijah Wood and everything like that.
Bring it up. Actually, like 2 separate plots, and Randy's like, "Is this about the Natalie and the FBI thing?" And Shauna's like, "What?" It is kind of weird. Shauna didn't press that more because she does bring it up again. It's like, so wait, what happened with Natalie? But then like that's kind of it. She kind of just like drops it.
I don't completely hate it because she was being followed by the cops, so maybe she didn't want to talk about that too much, type of thing.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess we did see that Shauna is kind of like doesn't really give a shit about Natalie because when Tyson was like, "What if she drops dead?" and Shauna was like,
"Yeah,
oh well, it could be like that."
Right.
And I remember Shauna caused Natalie to almost commit suicide.
Oh, I didn't forget. I think I'm the one that brought that up originally. So.
Yeah. So yeah. But I do kind of like that. Like Randy's kind of like this weird middle area between the 2 plots.
Yeah, I like that.
Although I will say, because I brought that up before, that like I was really hoping the main characters' plots would like join back up earlier. We're at episode 5. Misty and Natalie finally kind of like had their plots meet up.
Not well.
But Tyson and Shauna have kind of like still been in their own little worlds.
Yep.
So, we're already like almost 2/3 done with the season. I'm hoping we get, I feel like they should have the plots intersect at some point.
Yeah, none of them really have. So.
Yeah.
And
so
like I said,
I thought I was pretty patient on episode 3 because I think my original thing was like, yeah, I'm hoping by episode 3 or 4, they have them like together. But that didn't happen. I was like, you know what? That's fine. Maybe, But like now I'm starting to get impatient with it. I'm like, okay, it'd be nice to have the main characters of the show actually be together.
I know, because it happened with Natalie and Misty, and it happened really bad, too.
Yeah. So I'm starting to get a little impatient with that. So again, this episode itself is just like whatever. But I feel like it is kind of like now it's like getting all the sins of like previous episodes like piled onto this one.
Yeah, unfortunately. You missed a big thing about, unless you get into it, about Randy.
Yeah, so Shauna, this is pretty funny. Where Shauna just gives him a condom, and Randy's like, hey, listen, I'm flattered. But like, just my best friend, I'm doing good with Tammy. Randy's like actually kind of a good guy.
He really is, yeah.
And then Shauna's like, no, listen, go jerk off into the condom. And he's like, what the fuck? Why?
Yeah.
And he's doing. He's like, okay. I like how Randy kind of just like does it.
Well, not sort of.
Well, I know, but he doesn't ask questions.
Yeah.
Oh, and if somebody told me that, I'd be like, no.
Yeah.
And I do. There's another funny moment where, as Randy's going in, Shauna's like, by the way, you better not think of me.
Yeah, So, yeah, I did think this was funny. I think the reason I thought this was goofy, because when I had seen this...
Well, it is goofy. Like, it's quite black.
Yeah. But I think the reason I probably didn't love this scene as much as everyone else did is they did this scene with this actress on 2.5 Men with Charlie Sheen and stuff. So it kind of...
Oh, did they?
Yeah, because Charlie Sheen's trying to do the same thing. So he can have a vasectomy and stuff. And they do a scene where Rose just like talking to him like outside the bathroom door. So this kind of made me think of that scene. I'm like, I don't think I should be thinking a scene like this. And it doesn't help that like she was Rose in 2.5 Men. So it's like, this is kind of a bit too sitcom-y.
Yeah, similar. Yeah, I was fine with it. Again, it's a bit of comedy. It's kind of like weirdly placed comedy, but I still thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Okay, it's weird because it's comedy that actually ends up like mattering. This comedy bit is going to be the reason this plot line can continue.
I don't mind that. Yeah. I think it just was a little goofy because of if I hadn't watched the 2.5 Men episode, like probably a few months before this, I probably wouldn't have had much of an issue with this. It just didn't help that, And again, it's the same actress from 2.5 Men, so it's a bit too similar and everything like that.
Yeah.
If like Misty did this, I probably wouldn't have said anything. So.
Yeah. But yeah. Randy, as he's trying to jerk off, but he can't. Wonderful thing I love talking about with my cousin. This middle-aged man is jerking off in the bathroom into a condom. And he can't quite do it. So he's like, all right, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to put some shaving cream in this. It wasn't even shaving. It was like, what? It was like lotion?
Yeah, it was lotion.
Yeah.
Because I think that was a joke you mentioned about lotion. Like you put lotion in there, so that's why you joked so
right.
well.
Yeah, I made that joke earlier. Yeah.
I love that your dog came over right when you started talking about this too. By the way,
I know, right? She was like, "Oh, you guys talking about condoms?" I think you're a sweet baby. You're my precious little virgin, Mary. So pure and innocent, except from your little asshole. But yeah, Randy, I guess, didn't tell Shauna that. I don't think, I don't think Shauna really wanted the details. But yeah, they end up leaving, and the cops are like, hey, so look, there you go, of course, Kevin still thinks that, the new guy is, like, pushing it, like, he doesn't really buy that Sean is, well, I don't know, Kevin seems, like, neutral. Like, he seems like he doesn't want this, the undercover cop to, like, be pushing it so much. But, like, he is suspicious of Shauna still.
Yeah. I wonder if it's one of those things, too. They're, like, friendly type of thing. And, like, he doesn't really,
He doesn't want to believe that Shauna, like, is the murderer.
Yeah.
But the new guy's like, no, listen, we're gonna go in and like investigate more. And Kevin's like, come on. He's like, listen, humor me, okay? And then they go in and they investigate. And Kevin, I like that Kevin is the one who points it out. He's like, hey, look, condom in the trash. There you go, problem solved.
Yeah.
And I do like how the undercover cop is kind of being like, damn it, you know, like I guess I was wrong. Well, he didn't say it, but like the actor did a good job kind of like showing his facial expression.
Yeah, this actor does a really good job, yeah.
Yeah, the actor picks up the condom. And I like how he starts sniffing it. And Kevin's like, oh my God. It would have been really funny if he fucking like licked it. He's like, that's not semen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did it. I've seen them do a joke like that before.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think other things have done that joke.
Yeah.
But it would have been too far in the comedy direction, but like it would have been funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, strawberry. This is the lotion. He pieces it together pretty quickly, but like he gets it like together like 100%, but like in a good way. Again, he's obviously a cop, so he should be smart.
Yeah.
But like I think the way he points it together is like good based on what he has. So he's like, boom. So what happened is, Shauna, Shauna knows we're on to her, so she got Randy to like come here, knowing we're following her, to like make us think like that she's cheating with Randy and not Adam.
Yep.
But then Kevin points out, but that just means that Callie knows, gave you wrong information. And then he's kind of like, oh shit, you're right.
So I do like
that when he was too caught up in the moment of like, yeah, I was right. But then Kevin points out, oh, that means Callie gave you wrong info. You're right.
So I do like that. I like that Kevin was the one that pointed out that Callie gave him bad info, because it would have been too much reading the script if like the cop.
Yeah, well, again, I think it makes sense because he got hyped up. He's like, yeah, boom, I was right. But then Kevin had to remind him, and he's like, oh yeah, shit, you're right.
Yep.
And then I like how he's not even like mad at Callie. He's like, well played, but hey, but I'm better. So it seems like he still has plans for Callie.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with this.
Yeah.
Because he can't be undercover.
But I feel like Kevin is now like on board with him. Like he kind of believes him now.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And that's gonna it for the episode. Yeah, honestly, I was gonna give it like a C-, but after going over again, it feels like they kind of dropped the ball on a lot of plot points that they've been building up for a while. So now I'm kind of giving it like a D+. I think it's better than last episode, but I'm still not a fan of it.
I agree. I feel like, again, like you said, all of the stuff, like this episode in context, if you watch this episode, not really knowing about the other stuff, you probably would like it. Like, again, with the whole Misty and Crystal stuff, the Shauna plotline, I actually ended up liking a little bit more, but they really dropped the ball on like a lot of stuff, like with all the stuff they hyped up with, and it really leaves you on like a huge disappointment. And I think, like you said, the Crystal Misty stuff, it's acted well and stuff, but like, so what? Like, Crystal didn't exist before, and no matter what the outcome of that is, like whether she existed or not,
it was already egregious that like Crystal just was not fucking there before. But like they just killed her, and I'm like, what the fuck was the point?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go in.
And again, it's like she's Misty's imaginary friend. Like I said before, I'm like, I don't even know what you would even do with that. Like, okay, Misty's crazy. I already fucking knew that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go D+. Also, it's like, oh no, season 2. Like what? That was we get D-, D+. We're gonna have to.
Yeah, and it's like back to back too. So I'm really hoping next episode pulls it together.
I know, because then we have to have because we've made an agreement a while back that if you don't like it after season 2, you could like, well, if we review any type of show after season 2, you could stop. You and I might have to have that conversation.
I mean, we'll see how bad it gets. I'm still looking forward to season 3, but yeah, no, if it fucking like is getting dog shit, then yeah.
Hey, it could always be Kiss This. Could always be that.
Yeah, true. I mean, listen, I don't think Kiss This could be. I don't think YellowJackets could be that bad if it tried.
Probably not. Could Kiss Kiss?
No, honestly, I still like this season so far. We're just at a rough patch. I'm really hoping next episode brings it up.
Yeah, you have to just tell me off. You'll just have to like text me like how you. I think you'll like the past. I'll be shocked if you don't like the past. The present, we'll see. But the past, I think you'll really like. So.
Okay. Well, it's funny because I feel like this episode, again, my favorite plots were Thais and Shauna. So this was a rare episode where I like the present a bit more.
I know, but the past is a big... I'm getting... You got a big thing coming, so...
No, I'm just saying for this episode, it was rare where I like the present more than the past.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, episode 6, hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of this video. You probably have nothing, but, you know, it's so good to ask. Anything you want to plug or promote?
I finally have Wi-Fi back at my place, so I can get back to editing that video I was writing.
Oh, when'd you get that? When'd you get that back?
The other day, like 2 days ago.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say we would have done... That's good, though, because you don't have to go there now each time. So that kind of helps us out.
Oh, yeah, I'm still watching my dad's place while he's out of town. But, like, yeah, once I'm back home, I don't have to keep coming here, yeah.
And then, yeah, check out this channel. We're going to continue on with YellowJackets and go back to OVB. We're going to do YellowJackets mostly this week, and then, like, OVB, I think we said Saturday. I forget. I think you made the schedule. And then, like, next week we should be, like, back on track of, like, where we want to be. Again, we're not going to... if it's just another week... we are going to still do that comparison video. Not really a comparison, but like a ranking video of LVB and the Freelancer Saga with the YellowJackets stuff. It's just going to be without watching Season 3. So,
yeah, well, I think a big reason we want to do that before we start Season 3 is because it worked out really well. 2 seasons of the YellowJackets, 2 seasons of Red versus the Blue.
I'm just saying the original plan was because there was only 2 seasons of each show, but, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, only like 1 or 2 episodes have aired of YellowJackets Season 3.
Yeah.
Fine.
But, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Also check out Wrestling Fortune 44 for more of our wrestling content. We'll be doing some videos with that this week. And that's pretty much it, guys. And we will talk to you guys later.